Hey everyone, welcome to another fantastic edition of the Suzette Speaks show. I am Suzette Speaks. I'm here doing some late night YouTube streaming because of one of the most eventful Academy Award shows that we have had in any, I would say, recent history. We had one of the biggest dust ups that will continue to be talked about for quite some time as a result of an interaction between international icon and world superstar Will Smith and well renowned comedian Chris Rock. If you didn't watch the show, I just happened to be watching the entire Academy Awards show. So I felt like it was important to come on and give my reaction, my 2 cents, because I feel like a lot of people who have been commenting and reacting, I don't think they even watched the show. And I think some of the context behind what happened prior, what happened after was missing. So I wanted to come in and fill in the blanks a little bit and ask you some questions as my audience as to what you think happened. If you'll notice that I put up a survey on my community page. If you are watching from YouTube, I asked the question because I saw it circulating around these social media streets. The question being asked is whether or not you believe or whether people believe this incident was or could have possibly been staged. I'm not saying that's my opinion. I am not saying that's my opinion. I'm asking you. I'm asking you if you think or if you have heard or if you have any inclination that what we have been talking about during the last less than 24 hours now could possibly have been some kind of media stunt. Now, I personally do not believe that, but I saw it circulating, so I put the survey up to see what my folks think. And of course, I want to delve a little bit deeper into the mindset of what may have been going on within uh, Will Smith's mind to see someone who has had such a squeaky clean image, never had any dust up. Will Smith is America's dad from his time as the Prince of Bel Air to now. We have just seen his star climb higher and higher, and we have yet to see him make any real faux pas. Obviously, there are some rumors about him and his wife as far as their marriage and what they allow or don't allow. But as far as any material way of showing that he was in any way, prone to any kind of violence or prone to any kind of, um, you know, what should I say, physicality with another person outside of a movie stunt, there was no indication of any type of behavior related to what we saw last night, if you watched it. So we're going to peel back some of the details. We're going to open up, I guess, the stream so that you guys can come in and make your comments. I want to know if you feel that this was something, again, that, again, not my opinion. Several people I saw online asking that question, whether you think this was something that could have been orchestrated a la Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake at the Super Bowl, something like this. Again, not my opinion, but I want to ask the question because I don't know if there's information. You guys always have more information than I do when it comes to some of this crazy Hollywood mayhem. But this 94th Oscars ceremony will be one that goes down in history. We won't soon forget it. There are so many parts of it I want to get to, and I think there are some parts of it that we missed because we are so focused on this one quite striking, no pun intended, moment. So I want to welcome you. Hit the like button as you come in. I thank you guys so much for watching. Again, our topic tonight is will the real Will Smith please stand up? I put it as a question statement because I think there are so many parts of his story that we can try to delve into because this was not, to me, an isolated incident, in that many of us have had human reactions. And to me, I was watching a very human reaction. We all have different thresholds, we all have different limits and boundaries. And what I saw last night, and I'm going to get your opinion, I'm going to drop the link and welcome you up to give your opinion as well. But what I saw last night was a very interesting example of what human beings, when they are pushed past their limits, can do. But again, that's assuming if you, like me, think this was a genuine reaction. And there are those who believe this was not. So we'll get into that. But welcome, you guys. Suzette Speaks show streaming live, Facebook, as well as YouTube. I want to welcome you as you come in. I am Suzette Speaks, TV host and attorney, doing a little late night streaming tonight. I hope you guys caught. I think if you were on social media at all today, you caught pieces of the story. You definitely caught pieces of the story. There were people talking about it, but like I said, not with complete context. And I also think what happened before, what happened after, was very telling, both from, how he and his wife, Miss Jada Pinkett Smith, interacted with one another, how several people who were in the audience who went up to Will Smith reacted to him. And I want to know if you saw, what did you see? That's what I want to ask first and foremost. But before I do that, I want to welcome you. Hit the like button as you come in tonight. We are going to be talking a little bit of Will Smith, what it is that he experienced at the Oscars, what it looked like to me, which was the real Will Smith, because there was so much of a contrast between the infamous slap and 10 minutes later when he went to collect his Oscar for best, leading man, should I say, in a motion picture, which was historic. And so much of his moment got lost. That groundbreaking, yet again, moment of his, finally, for his body of work to be acknowledged, was lost, because all we're talking about is this slap to Chris Rock. So the things that got lost in translation, I do want to pick up on, because I think, again, so many serious moments happened. This was the first time the Oscars was being produced by an all-Black production team. Shout out to Will Packer and his team. And a lot of the good that they did seemed to get erased and now overlooked. From the time that I turned it on, I was intrigued by the amount of melanated faces from Beyonce's opening, which was fire, in my opinion, performed in Compton on the tennis court where the Williams sisters first got their start. That was very symbolic. Blue Ivy coming through with her, I think it was an 8 count cameo. And seeing, I think in the first 15, 20 minutes, I kept thinking there are more Black faces in this 15, 20-minute open of the Oscars than I've ever seen at the Oscars. I think that was on purpose. I think it was skillfully done. I think that was what Will Packer and his team were trying to do. Diversify, open up the doors. There were so many people on the red carpet that when interviewed, oh, it's my first time. Tracy Ellis Ross, it's my first time. I only been one time with my mom, Diana Ross. Tracy Ellis Ross had never been to the Oscars. So many stars, it was their first time. Why? Because it seems as if there was a very select few who had access to that ticket before now. We had Samuel L. Jackson get a governor's award. There were so many people that were recognized, but we are not talking about them. We are talking about what happened with Will and Chris Rock. All right, we're going to get started. I'm not going to long stroke you. I want to make sure I made a nice presentation today, y'all, because I want to get into the conversation. First and foremost, welcome, y'all. Hit the like button. I'm Suzette Speaks. I want to make sure all of you have an opportunity before it gets too late to come up in this conversation as we talk about Will the real Will Smith. Please stand up. From that moment, that most human of moments that Mr. Smith displayed, to the, like I said, it wasn't even 10, 15 minutes later, being announced by the actors from the Pulp Fiction movie. Will Packer did a wonderful job. of outlining what movie lovers love, not just those who make movies, but those who watch movies, what we love. There's so many good elements in this show. I enjoyed the show until I had to rewind this particular segment about 10 times. I kept looking back. I was like, did I see what I just saw? Did I see what I just saw? Is that a joke? Did I see what I just saw? Call my aunt. Call my people. Did y'all see this? They weren't watching. Didn't help me. So the image of America's dad was very much challenged. So we got to ask ourselves what happened. We're going to figure out, hopefully, I think from a diversity of opinions, your opinion and mine. I won't purport to have every single answer. I'm just going to tell you what I saw and what I think is very telling about the situation. So before I do that, welcome one and all. Hit the like button. Suzette Speaks here, late night streaming. Let me check my chat first and foremost before I get into it. I want to welcome each. I think it was RM that was first. How are you, RM? Yeah, busy in the chat already. My moderators, thank you for being here. Appreciate you, RM. And I think Ernest, I saw you nice and early. Welcome. Let's get it started. He says, yes, I was on the way all day to this topic. What's good, DL Saint? Nice to see you. Miss AKA Lady says, not the slap button. I'm telling you, it was shocking. The air was sucked out of the room, even from home watching. It was like, what did I just witness? It was crazy, is like the only word you could think of, but it doesn't even fit how you feel. It was so just abruptly, it just was shocking. It was just shocking as the best word I can come up with, but I still couldn't believe what I saw. I called like 3 people right after I watched it. Let me see who's in the chat. Welcome, Doug. Doug says, in his opinion, it was fake, all fake. Now, you're not the only person that's been saying this. This has led to a little bit of controversy online. There are people that really believe this. And Doug adds, Oscar ratings in 2018 were 26 million 2019, 29 million 2020, 23 million. Thank you, Doug. Oscars. Hey, Kimo, how are you? Doug adds. And then they fell to in 2021 to 10.4 million. Great points, Doug. Thank you for adding some of those facts to the mix. Yes, Chemo adds, how are you? Doug agreed. Lousy Oscars using black folks to boost rating. Now, this right here, again, I am not promoting. I am asking the question. This is not necessarily my opinion at all. I have had to kind of think about what I saw and what and who would benefit. And it is scary to think, but I always try to look at all sides of the equation. I'm not saying this is necessarily true. There are people that firmly believe this was a raw emotional reaction by Will Smith, that he probably reached a tipping point, not just from tonight, because it was so personal, not just from, Oscar night, but from all the stuff that has always kind of led to him being seen as, less of a man in the marriage partnership of him and Jada Pinkett Smith. Some speculate that he felt in that moment kind of a culmination of being, tried, being disrespected, being sometimes, what should I say, jabbed at when it comes to he and his wife's relationship. Now, there's going to be some that agree and some that disagree. We welcome all opinions here. You do not have to agree with me. Don't worry. I'm all ears. I want to know what you thought you saw. Yeah, all about, and I thank you, RM, stemming from protecting his wife, many believe, from, and this is a point I would love to get into. I think I'm going to get into it a little bit more tomorrow about Jada's battle with alopecia. Many people do know, now they do anyway. I don't know if they knew. I don't know if Chris Rock knew. If you think this was a genuine incident, you don't know if, or may have speculated that Chris Rock did not know of Jada Pinkett Smith's battle with alopecia and therefore did not think it warranted sensitivity to a certain degree and therefore said what he said. And there are others that believe, since this is a condition, a real like autoimmune for many people condition, it was tasteless. But I don't know. I saw online and I thought, can both people be right and both people be wrong at the same time? Chris Rock was doing his job. He is a comedian. Will Smith, many argue, was protecting his woman. Many also argue that the use of violence is never, ever, ever warranted, especially at no Academy Awards. It's almost like he forgot where he was. This is the Academy Awards. So there's so much more, I think, buried beneath Will's reaction. If you believe it was a very genuine reaction, there's so much more going on there than that joke, it seemed to me. But let me get to the comments. Yes. Miss AKA Lady says, the whole alopecia community is split. However, I love the fact that people are being enlightened to the disorder. Yes, I see. Thank you for sharing that, Miss AKA Lady. I was going to say, I see you, Miss Harmony Pill. How are you? Welcome to another fantastic stream. Thank you to those who watched my last two streams. Y'all was killing me in the comments. I loved it. Thank you to DL Saint. I see you busy in the chat. Is Marriage Dead from last week was a hit. And thank you to Red Pill Hustle. His stream that we did together is almost 1,000 views also in a couple days, which was Should Men Join the Red Pill Community? I had just so much feedback on both of those. So thank you so much for y'all who have been rocking. DL Saint with the love. Thank you. Appreciate always generous and helping me build up the channel. What's good, Suzette? Crazy. Yes, to say the least. Every time I think about what transpired as like a genuine, a human emotional reaction, it really just, it touches my heart in such a way in terms of empathy towards empathy towards Will Smith. Every person has a breaking point. Yours just haven't been witnessed by the public yet. So for someone to have such an open, what some may consider breakdown, imagine what was happening behind the scenes. And then there are those who have mentioned that since his wife has been battling alopecia, only he knows her true personal struggle. Only he knows how much she has been affected. For a woman to be losing her hair is a big deal. It's a huge deal. Our crown, our glory, our beauty. And only he knows how she feels, behind closed doors. So there are many who speculate, oh my goodness, yeah, there was more to this. So no, RM, go vote, guys. I put it on my community tab, whether you think this was a staged event. I don't think so, but many do. And I saw it online and I was like, let me ask my people. Hey, Sunbreeze, how are you? Welcome. Nice to see you. Let me see who else we got. Doug with the super chat. Thank you so much. Showing love. All right. Oscars ratings 2018, 26 million, 2019, 29 million, 2020, 23 million, 2021, 10. Ooh, so it went down tremendously during COVID. It says Chris Rock had his hands behind his back. I thought, listen, behind his back is two ways of looking at it, right? He has a lot of restraint for a grown man, right? Because I couldn't see to myself, no way, a man wouldn't, like, even as a natural reaction, not even like blow for blow, right? So Chris Rock doesn't strike me as like, he's going 10 rounds. But even as a natural reaction from a man, if a man slap you, do you pick up your fist? I'm not saying I condone violence. But the reaction of him holding back himself either was that of a consummate professional or, as Doug says, Doug believes he leaned into the slap. Now I did not. I'm gonna. No. I'm gonna look at that tape a little differently. I have a few of those still shots. I'm gonna look at that tape a little bit differently because I don't know if I saw the lean with it, rock with it. So Doug says what he saw is a lean in. Interesting. Thank you, Doug, for the super chat. Miss AKA Lady adds he snapped. I agree with this point. We have to continue to normalize therapy. I thought, you know, I don't know if him and Jada, Will and Jada, I should say, are big into therapy. But I know Will wrote a memoir recently, and I think that is something that is really important to kind of bring up here too, because some of the things that he mentioned in his memoir about how he grew up, I think may actually be at play here. I think you're right, absolutely. DL Saint adds, I feel you, Doug. Should I drop the link? Let me drop the link so we don't be here till too late. But I want to do a little bit more of the kind of recap for those who have been watching and seeing some of the background and not necessarily hearing all of it, hearing, bits and pieces, I should say. But he adds, I feel you, Doug, but I doubt that was fake. I just didn't see Rock agree. Just don't see Chris Rock agreeing to do that, bro. Okay. All right. I just asked a question. I do not think that. I just wanted to put it out there. SSS, welcome, says, Will is a clown. Blue pill simp. His wife is the problem. This is what a lot of people have been saying too. I saw it that Jada be making Will look crazy. I'm like, why I gotta be Jada's fault? Jada didn't get up and go walk the aisle. I saw people even writing she should have grabbed him. She should have stopped him. I don't think she knew what he was gonna do. I don't think she knew at all that he was gonna slap somebody. I see you in the back, DL saying, I see you in the back, Miss AKA Lady. Bring you up just momentarily. Thank you. I wasn't sure what I was going to keep on or change, but I just decided to keep on my dress for today. Thank you very much. Sorry, Bill. The ratings. Sunbreeze makes a good point. I think the story is workplace harassment. Now, there's that whole legal issue. I didn't even watch. Shout out to TLA. I don't know if y'all watched this stream. I purposely didn't watch it because I didn't want any of my ideas to kind of flow from his. I don't know if he focused it on the legal side, but it has been said Chris Rock has not chosen to press charges and doesn't want to. But an assault did happen. Absolutely. Workplace violence happened, actually. And it's also being reported that many of the, I guess they would call themselves governors of the academy were in the Dolby theater, were in the theater. And they were sitting in different places around the theater. They couldn't really convene right away. And there was talk around probably 45 minutes after the incident happened. People were saying that some of the governors were wondering if he should have been removed or suggesting he should leave. We should escort him out, but he wasn't. They did not know how to handle it. It was just so out of the ordinary that it caught so many people off guard. Snuggles, the link has been dropped. What's up? You coming up or what? Which is never. Ace Butterfly says, hey, chat. I'm like, no, we ain't long stroking. I'm getting right to it. Yes, Blue Ivy with her 8 count was popping. Yes. Ace Butterfly says, Team Chris Rock. Okay, we're going to see. Somebody says, Chris harassed Jada. Will slap Chris. Will, as a husband, made a promised marriage vow of providing the emotional, financial, physical, and mental support for Jada, whatever the future may bring. All right, well taken. Little hot tea, sorry. Point well taken. Let me see who else has any opinions here. I'm a little behind, guys. Let me get some of the comments in real quick, and I'll bring up my guests here in the back. But yeah, I have here is what I thought we would be talking about, which is one of the greatest actors of our time, Will Smith. And I thought we would be talking more about him, the person, the extraordinary body of work, the amount of times he's been overlooked, the amount of times he should have won the Oscar, and finally getting it. But instead, here we are now being forced to make this the story, which is the slap heard across the world. So, for those of you who are just joining, welcome. I want to highlight a couple things that I thought were lost. Again, Samuel L. Jackson won the Governor's Award for his body of work, right? His first Oscar presented, I think they said it was a Friday night, by Denzel to Samuel L. He was sitting in a special box. It was, again, a first for him, another black man who received an award. The red carpet, y'all, I ain't even got time tonight to go to the red carpet. Y'all saw the Venus, Serena. Y'all saw Chloe and Halle. Y'all, there were so many of my sisters that were doing it so big. I guess I can't give my fashion reviews here. Let's get to the meat of the matter. But yeah, there were so many beautiful parts that I think got lost. This was another one because this came right after as I was watching it live. Questlove. Shout out to Questlove and his documentary, The Summer of Soul. If you have not watched it, they played it on TV a couple times. Received Best Documentary, but because it came directly after the slap heard around the world, it almost kind of like took away from people weren't as focused on him as they should have been. But it all started so calmly. Here are the three people that literally this Oscar ceremony will be remembered for. Let's see what y'all have to say. Rose B says, "Hey, Rose. No, not the alopecia. No one is slapping someone over alopecia. He saw a quick opportunity to capitalize on the moment, tied perfectly with the movie he was getting an Oscar for." So you think that was there was that much of forethought? That was more premeditation on Will's part. Interesting. Not alopecia, opportunity to capitalize on the moment. It's very interesting. I didn't thought of it like that, as in the moment premeditation. Interesting. Hmm. Hmm. Ace Butterfly says, if it was Dwayne the Rock Johnson, would Will have done that? I don't think so. Nah. And if it was, there's so many parts of this. Let's go. DL, come on up. How are you, Miss?
What's good? What's good? How you doing?
Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you too.
Wow, what a night. I saw you up steady streaming. I'm gonna turn off my fan. I'm coughing a little bit here.
Yeah, I
Um
was tired. I gotta listen to this. This is for you.
mm. I wasn't supposed to laugh. No, I gotta like let me give it one quick second, DL. Let me hear what you have to say. Give me a sec. Let me turn my fan off. Go ahead. What'd you see last
So
night? What was your
so
yeah.
yeah, we covered it right away. You can go ahead and throw me up there. Yeah, we covered it right away. I had my buddy Ty Barnett, a Los Angeles comedian, and there are a lot of theories out there as to what was going on. Ty's big takeaway, his big thing was as a man, as a human male, no one can smack you in the face, turn their back, and walk away, go back to their seat, and then say what they said. That was a complete lack of respect. So that's where we were kind of going back and forth. I'm like, oh man, but Will got weight on him, and it's the whole thing. It's the Fresh Prince. It's like, nah, dude from Philly. It was like all that. Like here's the thing about Hollywood, right? People know what they see on film, what they see on TV, what they hear in music, but when you're out there, you actually kind of bump into these people. Um, they rarely are the way you think they are. I could tell you for a fact that Denzel is Denzel, right? Denzel
Okay.
Washington is the man. I could tell you that for a fact. You know what I mean? There's a few other people out there. George Clooney, he's real. He is George Clooney. I could tell you that for a fact. But then there's some people out there who are really strange. As we know, it's Hollywood, right? Everybody knows that it's Hollywood land. So, as far as the like brother Doug, I respect you a lot, brother, but man, I just don't know. You're talking about a town that's built on your image to agree to something that leaves you looking like the weak one. Like Chris came out looking like the weak one. Yeah, he took the high road and he was able to hold his composure, and like he gets smacked, and then you have this producer screaming in your ear, right? Like, look, all the memes are out there now. There's gonna
For
be
real.
T-shirts. Like, think about it. Like, it's gonna be a lot going on behind this. There's no dollar amount that's gonna allow you to swallow that, and it hurts his career. Like, you got to go on the road, and I mean, do you want to deal with that? You trying to have coffee somewhere, and somebody runs in there and acts like they're gonna smack you or something. It's so much. It's so much. And then the last thing I'll say is to do it on a world stage like the Oscars, and we're trying to get more inclusion of people of color, minorities, and we have the icon in Will Smith. Like, he is the great black hope. He's the one that all the white people love, and he runs up and he smacks you know, uh, Chris Rock over a good joke. Actually, it was a good joke. I mean, that's what comics do. Like, I don't know if he knew about the medical condition about losing your hair, and I know that's serious. I know that's serious, right? I didn't have
Yeah.
any hair like in high school. I lost my hair. I get that. Even as a man, that's rough. But I thought that was a choice. I thought Jada did that on her own because she's a beautiful woman. Like, she made it work. I thought that was just her rocking it. It's not like she has a funny shaped head like this one. You know what I mean? She's beautiful. Um, but I mean that's my stance on it. Like, for the opening part of this, that was bad. I mean, look at it. Look at it in that picture. Put that picture back up there. That's a beautiful woman. And all the young men out there
Absolutely.
believe the same thing. That's a beautiful woman. What's up, Jada?
Yes. She looked gorgeous yesterday. Miss AKA lady, I wanted to let you jump in, my darling. How are you?
Hey, good evening. How are you?
Fantastic. Nice to hear your voice. How are
Yeah.
you viewing everything that had happened yesterday? What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't have much to say on the situation between Chris and Will. Everybody's pretty much said a lot of everything, but alopecia is something that doesn't really hit the main stage like that. And I wanted to take an opportunity to kind of bring more light to it as someone who has a
Hmm.
close family member that I deal with this. I've been dealing with this for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And alopecia is an autoimmune disorder where the hair follicle attacks the hair. And there are several forms of alopecia, ranging from total baldness to partial baldness. And a lot of people confuse alopecia with cancer. And a lot of alopecias take offense. Well, people with alopecia take offense to that, or they get hurt by that.
Hmm.
People stare, especially for a woman, when your hair is so important to your self-image. Is hard. It's a hard thing to kind of come across. So in all of this, I think that the best part is the fact that people are talking about alopecia, and
Hmm.
people are bringing it light, because there is no cure to alopecia. There is no real funding. If you're going through this and you try to go to a doctor, every doctor is going to tell you there's nothing that they can do, except for steroids or certain treatments. But I think that having more awareness of what it is
Hmm.
could bring more sensitivity
Hmm.
to the situation,
Yeah.
because a lot of people can make jokes about things that they don't understand, not realizing how those jokes and those consequences can really affect an entire community. Because nobody would make fun of somebody with cancer.
None.
It just
Yeah.
wouldn't be funny.
Yeah. At all.
So I think the same things with, a lot of medical conditions, but I like that this is being brought to the forefront.
Yeah.
And as much as this can stay in the conversation, so nobody forgets about it, maybe there can be some more research for funding for research, that type of thing. But
Absolutely.
I do think this is a great topic to bring more awareness to.
Yeah, I threw this picture in there. And I'm thinking tomorrow I have invited a lady on to speak specifically about alopecia. She is a Miamian who she's a minister. She has a lot going on. But she has been open and she has shaved her head due to alopecia. So I asked her to come on tomorrow. She's like, it's going to be tight, but let's find a time. I think that's what tomorrow's show is going to focus a little bit more in depth on. Hope you can catch that because there were comments made even by, I think it was like Nicole Hannah Jones, the lady who started the 1619 project. She tweeted, how is hair loss me get it right. How
She
is
calls it
hair?
a disability.
Yeah, disability.
And
And
that
then
was
she
the thing
quickly
too.
deleted it, and I was like, "Whoa, I guess does she not know that she has alopecia?" But go ahead, what were your thoughts on that?
I didn't like that she said the word disability. I didn't like that at all because that assumes that you're disabled. And for all intents and purposes, someone with alopecia, they're completely fine. There is a heightened risk of any kind of like Crohn's disease or any other autoimmune disorder, just like if you had cancer in the past, you have a heightened risk of cancer in the future. It's kind of the same things. You have a heightened risk for other autoimmune disorders.
Mm,
But for all intents and purposes, someone with alopecia is completely fine, healthy and fine, other than the fact that their hair follicles are being attacked.
yeah.
So I didn't like
I've
that she
seen
called
little
it a
girls with it
disability.
too. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and that's so difficult
yeah,
as a kid, as a little girl going through middle school, going through high school, a little boy, same thing, going through those informative years without their hair. And
mm,
so I think that if anything, this situation brought light to what it is, the fact that it's a very painful thing to go through,
yeah,
and that sometimes jokes just aren't funny.
mm,
Sometimes they're just not.
So I mean, I would like to get just a little bit of pushback because I'm a professional comedian.
Hmm.
And I agree with everything you're saying. And this is not. I'm tired because it's been a long couple days.
I know, right?
So
Me too. I'm
yeah.
like, stay
So
focused. Yeah.
yeah, but and it's one of the things to consider. As a comedian, I've done rooms where you will have certain groups of people, be it people with cancer or alcoholics or LGBTQ or something like that, right? And when you withhold those jokes, like there's a part of stand up that's called crowd work, right? So you've seen comedians, a lot of the really good black comedians do that. They just kind of work around the room and just start talking about folks, right? So imagine for a moment that you're out, you in this comedy show and you're going to see who you're going to see and you know what it's about, and every single comic skips over you,
Mm,
right? Every single comic. They talk about the fat guy in front of you. They talk about the lady with the funny hair behind you. They talk about the drug dealer sitting next to you a couple of seats down, but they don't talk about you, right? Eventually you'll be like, wow,
Hmm.
why are they purposely excluding me? And I'll give you this story. I had a room I was promoting in California, and there was a young white guy who was obviously gay, right? And then a lot of people, when I say that, people get mad like, how do you know he was gay? I'm like, man, I'm too tired to even go through that. He was
mm-hmm,
obviously gay,
mm-hmm.
right? It was an Armenian guy sitting next to him with big ears. There was a guy in there who was like he worked out a lot. He was like a gym guy who was like super big steroid dude, right? There was a couple like ditzy girls, and there was a gay dude. And I worked my way around the room, and everybody got some, including the gay dude. I
Mm,
wasn't vulgar, right? Yes, you can make bad jokes. Bad jokes are bad jokes, but if you're a professional, there are good jokes that you can use that you can include everyone. So at the end of the show, I'm standing outside and the gay guy's female friend came up and she gave me a piece of her mind. I mean, she was tearing into me and I just stood there listening to her like, all right. And then her friend, her gay friend who didn't know what she was saying, walks up
mm.
and she stops talking and he gives me a hug and he was like, I just want to thank you for including me. No one ever includes me. I feel
Oh, wow.
comfortable here and I'm coming back. And he came back. He was in there twice a month. He'd come back just to watch the show because I treated him like everyone else. So I would say just give that, food for thought on that. And a lot of times when you're making jokes, you're talking about people you don't know. I'll give you another quick story. I was at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, and there was a guy like looking at me, like I'm doing my bit, and he's staring at me, right? Like no matter where I moved on the stage, and he's staring at me. And I was young in my career. I'm considered an open micer. I barely have 4 minutes of material. So I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm not getting any laughs, and this guy's staring at me. So finally I look at the guy and I was like, what's your problem? Are you deaf or something? And I did it like that. And he looked at me, was like, yes, I am. And I was like, oh, and that was
What?
it. Good night. My name is Don. And I ran off the stage. And even that
Oh,
guy came outside and he was like, hey, man, you're funny. I have to look at you because I read lips. He was like, I think you were funny. You were the funniest guy tonight. I know you have work to do, but, hey, thank you. He still thanked me. And I felt like crap. But I learned that night, like, I'm two things. First of all, don't exclude people, and secondly, become a better comedian. You know what I mean?
Listen, I guess you're coming from a comedian like point of view.
Yeah,
Understood
that's
what you're
why I
saying.
started off by saying that I wasn't specifically talking about Chris and Will, because
Yeah,
honestly, looking at the situation, I didn't think it was that crazy of a joke. I
yeah,
didn't. I thought
no,
it was
yeah,
very light, and because it wasn't that crazy of a joke, I didn't think that this was the first offense. And I
yeah. It was
didn't
like a
think that
build up.
this was what
Yeah,
really caused the slap. I think that was clearly a buildup of something.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm in no way saying that you can't have jokes, but at the same time, it's I
It's a very
it's a
touchy,
thin
like it's a
line.
very fine line there,
Yeah,
and I
there is
think
a
that's what he's
thin
trying to get
line
at.
there. There is a thin line there. And so I'm not disagreeing with you at all. And that's why I kind of made the preference there. But I do think that when you kind of move, when I said jokes or some jokes are not funny, I was most importantly speaking on social situations in normal life, not a comedian on a stage. I'm talking about people just chatting around and just throwing jabs in someone's face
Yeah. Trying to
directly.
be funny.
I don't think those type of things. Yeah, it's whatever the case may be. I believe that social media got people real disrespectful nowadays. They got people feeling like they can say or do anything, anytime, anywhere, without consequence, and they feel like there's nothing that's left to be respected. And this isn't specifically just about Will and Chris. I think it's all around in general that there has to be, well, there's not going to be a level of respect across. It's just the environment that we've turned into. But I wasn't specifically talking about comedies on stage. I'm more so talking about being more sensitive in real life to real people.
Understood. Yeah. It is a. I think I saw, and I was looking to see if I pulled up the quotes because at the end I did some quotes from what Iyanla said, and actually I might just go to that. What Iyanla Van Zan, I think it was Trina, like Trina from Miami, had a quote about bullying and all the different people that have been bullied, and no one really knows what everybody goes through, and you don't know what buttons you're actually pushing. Let me put up Iyanla's. Actually, even Dr. Umar, I know y'all love him, but I had a couple of words to say. But here, Iyanla says, Beloved Will Smith has set a whole new standard for what it means to protect and honor your wife. Be mindful. And in the midst of it, beloved Mr. Will Packer did an amazingly phenomenal job producing this year's Oscars. Yes to the Wills. So do you think, DL, this was wife protection? There's a lot that is on, have been comments that are on social media that have been focused on Will was protecting his wife. Do you think um, that is a warranted assessment of what happened?
Um, Possibly, and do me a favor, Suzette, keep your picture up because I'm getting like a real strong echo, so I can see you talking. And it helps me focus
Oh,
on
okay,
what's
okay,
live and what's
sure.
Memorex.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
But I here's my thing, and this we got into this heavy last night, and it was surprisingly coming from the females that has actually jumped in on in the chat. The question they were posing is, with reference to red table and with reference to entanglement, is Jada worth that type of protection? And that's something I've been thinking
Mm.
about all day. I don't know because look at everything that's really on the line. Like Chris didn't press charges, but what if he had? The Oscar folks didn't remove Will, but what if they did? They didn't blackball him. What if? I mean, it can really affect a lot. And our conversation turned into your quote unquote queen, your wife, your right hand. She should be there to help protect you, not destroy your kingdom that you guys built together or the kingdom that he built. They should be there to help you protect that. So, and I've been thinking about that all day, and I don't really have an answer. I mean, I know I wouldn't after red table. That would have been it. I'd have came to the red table and I'd have served papers right there on the TV show. Like we done. I don't care what it costs, but
Oh,
Can I
that's
say
me.
something to
I think
that?
there's two different things coming up there. But go ahead, Miss AKA lady.
Um, I understand your point, but I didn't forget that. August was the one who put this out. Jada didn't put this out. Jada didn't come to the world with this. Also, Will admitted that he had other women too. So they both had other partners, and then August got to talking too much. So I'm not going to say that Jada threw Will out there. August threw this situation out there. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I do think that table talk is too much. People talk about transparency like it's an award. It's okay not to be transparent. It's okay to keep your
No,
personal business your
every
personal
part of your
business.
business. No, that's why we like y'all
Right.
want so much.
People will beg for your hot tea just to throw it in your face.
Exactly.
Don't, if it's house business, their situation is way too complicated to be trying to explain to the masses. They should have kept that in the house.
And
But
with that in mind,
August,
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, with that in mind, could his actions be a part of that? I have to go up here and do something completely over the top to put it into all this once and for all, right on this stage, the world stage. I mean, there's only a handful of humans that don't know about this on planet Earth. Think about that.
I read his book. I read his book, and he talked about how his childhood and how he always used comedy as a way to cope and to kind of make situations better. Like when his dad was beating his mother, he would kind of make a joke out of it to kind of lighten the situation up. So he's been struggling with stuff for years. And I think as strong as any person is, at the end of the day, they're still a human.
Yep.
And I don't think that this was a situation about somebody making a joke about his wife's hair. I don't think that it was any one thing. I think this has been years of disrespect now. And he snapped. Any person is human. And I think for somebody who is a regular citizen that is not a celebrity on this type of stage to be like, you woulda, shoulda, coulda, it's like, until
Yeah.
you get into that situation, until you have that level of pressure, until you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and you see your wife is getting attacked. And if you don't feel like it's due, it's just, then as a man, you can only do so much to control a hurt man.
Before he lashes out. Yeah. Sandy
So
B.
can I ask Miss AK one thing? And
Oh,
Mhm.
go ahead. Go ahead. I
pleasure
want to
meeting you,
get
Miss AK.
Sandy
By the way,
involved. Go ahead, sir.
pleasure meeting you. But so was it? It sounds to me that maybe you're implying that this was a Chris Will thing, or could it have been any comedian on the stage that made these comments? Because 80% of the top tier comedians were talking about Jada with the hashtag Oscars too white or whatever it was.
Oscar so white. Yep.
Oscars go white, and that's what Rock was talking about back then. And that was such an easy joke with the hair. And again, Chris Rock should have known, or his people should have known, or the Oscar people should have known about her struggles with her hair loss. But I mean, who knew what when? Isn't that what attorneys always ask? Who knew what when?
Exactly. What did you know and when did you know it?
I'm not saying this between Will and Chris specifically. I don't know what their situation is, but if I had to speculate, it looked like Chris be talking greasy at the mouth.
Yeah, and
And
Andre brings this up.
yeah,
We started to look back. The track record started from, and again, this is why I'm like, this takes away from so much of what
it
Will and
did.
Jada helped to spur on from the 2016 campaign of Oscar So White. The Oscars folks, the powers that be, were shaking in their boots. Look how black we've become because of what they started. But we're not talking about that. We had a gospel choir singing memoriam, excuse me, in memorandum. No, sorry, that's the legal document. In memoriam was a whole gospel choir. I'm talking about, I was in church for a whole second. I watched The View this morning, and Joy Behar was like, I didn't like that. Those people dancing all over the stage. I was wondering, and I thought to myself, how are other people seeing this? Because I'm enjoying it. But she was like, I couldn't even see the names behind them, and they're just dancing all over. It was terrible. But I just like the fact that they brought a different cultural flavor in so many parts. All of the people that walk the presenters off the stage, black men and women. That's the first time. Handsome black men dressed up in their tuxedos, taking folks on and handing out Oscars and coming back with envelopes. It was perfect. I was like, whoa, way to tan the stage. Let's go. And not to mention some of the performances, the Encanto performances. I love them. I like the little Latino flavor every now. You know what I'm saying? I like it.
Hmm.
The Please Don't Talk About Bruno was great. I don't know if you guys know, watch that performance with Meg the Stallion. It was so good. I thought it was so many places where multiculturalism and diversity was just like, wow, fed into a program that had never seen it before. And instead of celebrating the great job that the producers did, job well done, we're still kind of, sidetracked, let's say. Anyway, Sandy, Wagwan, how are you?
Hey Suzette, how are you? Hi
Nice to
everybody.
have you. How you doing? Sandy is with the Learn Biz podcast. She's been on before. We had a wonderful show with her and Miss Elisa Crawford several weeks back now. But
Yes.
glad to have you back, my darling. What are your thoughts on what has been happening and what the Twitterverse, social media spaces have been saying, and what say you?
Look, I saw the men on here. I think Gaston's World and the men that were chatting about this issue when things were popping off last night, and I can definitely appreciate Andre Terry's comment just a moment ago
Mm-hmm.
regarding the buildup. I just think that this was a really ugly look.
Mm-hmm.
Two black men on a stage. One raises his hand to slap the other. If that's what happened, I don't know. One raises his hand to slap the other,
Allegedly. Yes.
allegedly, right? And I mean, the whole of the world was looking at this.
Yeah.
And we come from a place of talking about Oscars so white, and we come from talking about how the Oscars are not representative.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what happens on the grand stage. And then he's accepting an award after
I
this.
know 10 minutes later, it's like the whole room didn't know how to behave. And some say it was like a semi, but maybe a full standing ovation. Like so many people stood up and clapped right after. It was so uncomfortable to watch. It
I
was so uncomfortable to watch.
What do y'all think about the fact that everybody went to Will and not to Chris? What do you think that says?
I think he's so loved. He's America's dad. He has that Cosby-esque persona. He's the next generation of, if you will, prior to all the scandal. Cosby is what I mean. But yeah, I think he transcends culture right now, race right now. Gender popularity is international, like as far as his reach. He is, Men in Black. He is Bad Boys. He is, some of the most iconic roles in the last 20 years have involved, Will Smith. So I think that love he has, that admiration he has, that respect he's garnered for his blockbuster status. I think Chris Rock is a powerhouse too.
You can say the same thing about Chris,
but
Yes,
can't you?
everybody
I,
hates Chris.
I
everybody
don't
hates
know. I
Chris.
don't know. I don't
I,
But
know.
I mean, as far as like the accolades,
No,
but
no, no. I'm saying Chris is a very
yeah,
talented and also accomplished man. Don't get me wrong.
I
But if you
was
put two people on a scale, put Chris Rock and
I think it
put
speaks to the
Will
fact
on a
that
scale. Your scale going towards Chris Rock?
no, what I'm saying is that I think it's telling that everybody went to Will and and really nobody's really talking about Chris, which kind of leaves me that Chris has a reputation for being an a-hole or something.
Mm.
Or I am speculating that way that there is why would nobody go and check on Chris?
I can speak to that.
Go ahead. What do
Okay.
you think, Dio?
Chris Rock is respected within um, mainstream Hollywood, especially within the comedic space. Right? Yeah, he's an actor. He's played some great roles, but let's face it, Chris Rock is a legendary comedian.
Hmm.
Will Smith is a legendary actor. The
Hmm.
Okay.
Oscars
Is an acting
is
thing.
an acting thing. So
Yeah.
Thanks for
why
that.
would Chris is
Yeah.
not their guy, but Chris is a goat, just like
Oh yeah,
Will
I didn't
is
mean to
a goat.
diminish him in any way.
Right now,
In his
I'm not saying
lane.
yeah, but I
Mhm.
just to give you a little bit of distinction, just because I've been the fly on the wall and I've been around
Hmm.
agents and I've been around casting people and I've been around directors and stuff like that, they're both beloved. Chris
Okay.
Rock walks into any comedy space anywhere in the world and people bow down. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah.
Just
Oh
like
yeah.
when Will Smith walks into a place, people bow down. So they're equal on that plane. But
Okay.
I mean,
Within
just
their respective field.
in their
Okay.
lanes. But
Got it.
It's
right.
just the
So
arena.
if this were the Oscars for comics, which we don't have, but if it were like that sort of venue and it was Will that got smacked by The Rock or something like that, people, or not The Rock,
Hmm.
but Will got
Yeah, yeah,
smacked
yeah.
by a big comic, then they'll be running to the comic just out
Hmm.
of we got to go to our guy as opposed to that's the other guy.
Okay.
But
So
the
just
one thing,
in this particular arena, this was a acting arena.
acting
So
arena
even though
Exactly.
Chris has been in a few movies, Will is the bigger actor.
was
So it
absolutely.
was naturally like an affinity for him that kind of showed forth as opposed to Chris. Okay.
But it
Understood.
was it was something I was going back and forth with brother Doug in the chat. And salute to you, brother Doug. You the man, We got to hook up, bro. We got to get drinks. I don't know where you at on planet Earth, but
Doug
we got
don't
to
like to
catch
be
up.
on camera. He just like to listen and comment
That's
in the
fine.
chat.
That's fine. I respect it. That's a solid brother. But we were going back and forth, and here's the thing I want to throw out, and I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say. If you don't do anything to Will Smith for smacking someone at the Oscars, irregardless of who he smacked and why,
Hmm.
if you don't do anything to Will Smith, right? To me, you can't try to cancel nobody for nothing moving forward because Will was wrong, right? So point blank, period, he was wrong. So imagine this. Imagine it was Bill Burr on stage saying jokes about Joe Rogan's wife,
Hmm.
and Rogan's wife teared up or something, and Rogan ran up on the stage at the Oscars and smacked Bill Burr. What would the left do in that case?
Bill Burr is who? I don't know who that is.
Legendary comedian in
Oh
that
God, forgive
space.
me. I'm sorry.
He's a redhead white guy. He's one of the most angry comedians. He is my favorite comedian alive, by the
Oh
way.
my.
I
Please forgive
love
me
Bill
my
Burr.
ignorance. I'm not familiar with him.
I'm gonna send you some Bill Burr stuff. Don't worry
Okay,
about it.
thank you. Sorry.
Just
I
to
just threw
throw a
this up
response.
because the Academy is launching a formal review, right? According to Forbes. But go ahead. Go who Miss AKA, you were adding something? Go ahead.
Just to throw a little response. Not saying that I totally disagree or anything, but I think that image matters.
Mm.
And if Joe Rogan or something did that, it would be a different situation than Will Smith.
How so?
And I'm not saying legally what's right or what's wrong. I'm just saying in social media opinion, Will Smith has spent his entire career being a model citizen, a model husband, a model Black man. He's had very little
Father.
salt,
Hmm.
father. He's had very philanthropist. He's had very little salt thrown on his name. So, in the opinion of social media or just public opinion, he's going to be treated differently than someone who has a more controversial past.
Well, and just to push back a little bit, Rogan, same thing. Rogan has always championed the weak. Rogan's
Rogan
he's
has a
not
lot of
only
controversy.
well, no, people start controversy because of what they see on clips of Rogan, right? But they don't know who Joe Rogan really is. Joe Rogan has helped a lot of people, right? And here's the thing: I think the perception boils down to what bubble you're from, right?
Hmm.
Because on the right, and here's the thing, Rogan's not even conservative. He hates conservative people, real talk. He thinks they're idiots. I ain't gonna lie to you. He hates extreme left people. He thinks they're idiots. I know this because I've talked to the man. But people don't know that. But it's just you look at this big white dude who's tatted up and he's been in the fight world his whole life. He's been combat sports his whole life. But he worked his way up. He worked his way up. He made his money the hard way and he helps people. So that's the thing. Like smacking somebody is wrong no matter who does it, right? We're supposed to use our words, not our hands, right?
Oh yeah,
He
not
might
saying
get a
that
pass
is
though.
right at
Get back
all.
to let's get
Yeah,
back to that point about whether he's gonna be punished.
yeah.
Um hmm. Sunbreeze adds, I wonder if it's a Hollywood culture. What are their ethics and code of conducts? Is it follow the leader or ring around the roses, hopscotch, or what? What game is this called? Hmm. Kennard adds, hey, Hollywood is turning 100. They are the last they are on their last leg, folks. Thank you. YouTube, streaming, the metaverse, and all things related to independent creators will replace it.
That's a good point.
Interesting. So, do you think he will be punished? And do you think those were crocodile tears? A lot of people, again, so many people were like, that's fake, this fake. I don't trust his speech. His speech was fake and all that. It was just such a contrast, the smack and then come back, and then these heartfelt tears. And I was talking to my mom, like, you think this is real? Do you think this is real? Like, I didn't know what to process.
I
Like,
didn't.
the human, what should I say, part of the story being that you could have the most worst moment of your life followed by the best moment of your life within like 15 minutes of each other. It was so confusing. It was just, I didn't know what to think. And of course, I went on Twitter right away. I was like, are people seeing what I'm seeing? And yes, people felt that sense of confusion too. What just happened? Everybody's facing the Oscar, the memes and start popping up. And then the tears of Will Smith, and oh my gosh, his toxic masculinity at its finest, and all these labels start getting thrown out. I don't know. Did y'all feel like y'all, first of all, do you think he'll be punished by the Academy? There has been a lot said about revoking or trying to take back his Oscar, or do you think there'll be some other kind of sanction? And then do you think his acceptance speech was therefore kind of thwarted itself? Like, people wanted to cheer for him, but maybe were hesitant after what just happened. What are your thoughts on either of those issues?
I think in commenting on that, I that speech threw me left field because after seeing what I saw, I was still trying to figure out if I really saw what I saw.
Exactly.
And then I'm just like, okay, because I didn't see this live. I don't watch the Oscars, have no real desire to do so, but I caught this after it had happened. Literally, it was on YouTube in a blink. And
Mm,
I just kept looking at it. I'm like, okay, this is not real. This is staged. This has to be staged. I keep looking. I'm looking at all these different views. I'm like, this can't be real life because why would you, on the biggest stage for you, because
yeah,
you're trying to win an Oscar, you
yeah,
have not won an Oscar,
right.
you protested the Oscars, and then you have the audacity to not only slap this man, and I think that was just wrong, period. I don't care what the excuses are that I'm hearing. I think it was just wrong because I feel like as a man facing another man, there was a way to deal with it. And I was listening to other people talk, and they were like, why didn't he just flip that in some other way? And I get it. He got it in his emotions. But that to me says he got in his emotions. It wasn't about Jada. It wasn't
Mm.
about what Chris
It was
Rock
that
said.
ego.
It
Mm,
was it was
hmm.
ego. It was
Hmm.
I was building up all of these things that had happened. I'm so tired of hearing about my wife and people talking about my wife and these situations. And so I do this thing. And then now I'm standing on stage to give this speech and I'm crying. I don't think because I won this award. I think because all of the flush of emotions is coming in
I'm
with
embarrassed.
everything. So I'm
Mm,
embarrassed and
mm,
I'm trying to be proud of myself at the same time. But what I did was so against. When
Mm-hmm.
you think of Will Smith and the things that he talks about, the motivation, the way that he talks about communication and education and being able
upliftment.
to,
Yeah.
I've never seen this, and I really lost a good chunk of respect for his messages. I know that he's done a lot of stuff. I know she's done a lot of stuff, but I lost respect for his messaging because he just did something that was so left field. And I'm like, there were so many things I felt like he could have done. He could have gone up there on the stage if he wanted to and said something about his wife.
Mm,
He could have gone up on stage and said, Chris Rock, I think you're really wrong for what you just said. Something else. I would rather him do anything else. But you took your hand. The most disrespectful thing you could do is slap someone or spit on them to me.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you slapped this man's face and didn't even think twice about anything. And then you had the audacity to do a speech and you didn't even apologize to the guy that you slapped. Did
Mm.
I miss it? Because I didn't hear an apology.
No, he said he apologized to like the Academy and his fellow, I think it was nominees.
That
But
that
he never
that
apologized to Chris Rock, not thus far that we know of.
I don't
Mm.
know if he'll be punished because honestly, the fact that the program just went on and there was no response,
It was
I thought he
weird.
was going to be pulled out of there.
That's yeah.
Um,
There was a little bit, but shout out to Diddy. I didn't create a slide for Diddy, but shout out to Diddy for at least coming to try to clear the air. He was the next presenter who presented or the documentary, best documentary that Questlove won. But he was like, kind of like what was it? My friend Coach Cass said it was like I was watching a family squabble at the barbecue when your uncles go off on each other, but everybody know it's peace and love afterwards. But I don't know if majority culture understands that. That people can
yeah,
pop off. I'm talking about pop off on each other, go to blows even, or and then sit down and have a beer and play dominoes right after. But when Diddy came up right after and was trying to like, yeah, we gonna sit down with Chris and Will and we gonna work that out. like family at the goal party after. Like at least the room let out a sigh. That laugh was like, okay, everybody's gonna acknowledge this happened. And even Amy Schumer, I think, was in the comment, like came back after a few awards later, was like, did I miss something, guys? I was in my Spider-Man suit. Did you guys like? She tried to make it light of it and kind of bring the room back. The room, like air was sucked out of the room, just like us at home. Confusion. So you say you don't know, or you believe you're not sure if there will be a punishment. Um,
If they didn't do something at the time, it's really hard for me to believe something really is going to happen in the aftermath. Like, I want to see something from Will Smith, man to man. Um, I don't think Chris. I don't think Chris should have made that comment at all. Like, leave Will and Jada alone. They already blowing up their own stuff on social media and the internet and
themselves,
everywhere. Themselves.
their self.
Come on, Chris. Choose somebody else, please.
Yes,
But
yes.
I really would love to see Will step forward man to man. And honestly, my brother was saying something earlier. He's like, wait till the red table talk comes out. It's gonna be Chris on there
They need to
with
throw
Will
that
Smith.
Y'all think it's for views? Oh God, Sandy, you think this was a setup for views?
It's not looking good to me. To me, it's looking a real slant. And I feel the red table talk is gonna be up like this week with all of them sitting at the table together. Viewing ratings are gonna be through the roof. And this is going to be forgotten, and we're going to move on to the next drama because something else is going to come. Yeah, I mean, look at what's happened in the last few years. But Will is dealing with a lot of like personal traumas.
Yes.
I'm afraid for him.
Writing that memoir and getting all that
Yes.
stuff, that
Yeah.
stuff is triggering. When you really dig deep into your past, and
He
even
does.
it crossed my mind that him watching his mom get beat up when he was young and not intervening, you don't know if this kind of triggers something. Now he's hearing it towards his wife, and there's a moment where I can stand up, and it wasn't even about Jada. It was just me trying to show that I can be a man still, because he was never able to do that when his
That's what he.
mom was suffering domestic violence. There's so much there that I was like, this man could have just snapped into a whole different place and was like, nobody gonna disrespect my woman, and that, I don't know. There was so much I could see there. Go ahead, Miss AKA lady.
Well, he kind of alluded to that in his speech of wanting to get that opportunity to stand up for someone. I really don't have like a full, complete thought about this, but I found it interesting that the story of King Richard was more so to humanize Serena and Venus's dad and make him seem less of an angry person, less of that type of thing that they put on him. And I felt a way when Will compared his actions to Richard standing up for his family, because I felt like the whole purpose of the movie was to distance him from that image. And I didn't know how I felt about him bringing Richard into that moment.
Like comparing himself to Venus
Well,
and
he was
Serena's
comparing
father.
himself in that moment to Richard in the way he raised his family. And I felt like the whole purpose of the movie was to humanize Richard and to make him seem less of an angry Black man. And then for Will to say, hey, I'm standing up for my family like Richard was standing up for his. I kind of felt, I wonder how Venus and Serena felt about that comparison.
Yeah. Who wants to comment on that?
Well,
Go ahead,
I was
DL.
I was gonna say something else. I was thinking of something else other than that.
Go
If you
ahead,
guys
go
want
ahead.
to,
Wherever your mind was.
well, I was thinking about the blackball thing, right? What's the name of the sister that had that amazing role in Precious, played Precious'
Monique.
mom? Monique. Monique got blackballed for real from
Yeah.
Hollywood.
No, Monique can't.
Ton of
Monique
talent,
got to be on Instagram. No, she's
right?
not getting roles.
Monique didn't smack anybody, right? So what are we doing, Hollywood? Like you can't. You see what I'm saying? You can't. Are we really social justice warriors? And I'm talking about those people who would go out and want to cancel this, that, and the third. We're looking for equality, or we just all about our guy? Well, we like you, Saint, so you can go smack somebody in the face with a bat and it's all good. But we don't like Suzette, so you know what I mean. If she just stands up and tells the truth about our organization, we ain't gonna let her make money again. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
DL, that's a great question. Do you know what percentage of Oscar was written? Because a lot of people are also speculating that this was scripted, because usually there's dress rehearsal and everybody goes over, what they're going to say for time's sake, to time everything out. And
There
maybe
are no
Will heard
surprises.
this. Do you know anything about the Oscars and its staging, and whether, there's ad lib allowed, or is every joke, pretty much known before it's said?
Yeah, like Ty and I were talking about this last night. If you're gonna do a stage like the Oscars, even the American Music Awards, the Grammys, something on that level, right? And you're a comedian, a stand-up comedian, they need to see your material. So you work with your writers, you write whatever, you run it, and then they'll give you notes and tell you what they want removed from whatever your material is. And you can look at Chris. Chris was really he was just phoning it. He was phoning that in. He wasn't really trying to go hard. Because
Right.
when he got hit, what did he say? He was like, really? Over a G.I.
Yeah.
Jane joke? Like, bro,
Yeah.
it was I did watch a little bit of Lead Attorney today, and one of
Yes.
his callers said, like, bro, it was one of those, do you know what I got in the bag right now? I went with this. I'm doing y'all a
Yes.
solid.
Like, I went the soft way.
Right. And you saying, think about it, as a comedian, I'm nowhere near his level of talent. But if you scream at me, keep my wife's name out your mouth,
Yeah.
you know what I'm gonna say. Me, DL
Yeah.
Saint, with my 15 years under my belt, like my
He
name
could
in
have
her
came.
mouth is the last thing you need to be worried about, Will.
He could have came for him hard. He could have came like with his skill, if he wanted to. If this was a comedy club, it would have been on. It would have been like a whole different
It
reaction.
could have been on in. He didn't do it because he got producers in his ear probably saying, bro,
Don't
we
do
get
it.
another 10
Don't do
million.
it.
Just chill. Just
You
chill.
see how he paused, like because I think he was probably waiting for go to commercial break, but they
Right.
didn't. Which I thought, whoa, we didn't even
Right.
take commercial break after that.
And to your point, yes, they know what's going on. Here's the thing: if that was scripted, who's the villain? The black producers who just got their first shot at the Oscars. See
Mm,
what happens when we let black people do the Oscars. There's
Mm.
no way we win this.
It's just I agree with you, and I agree with what Sandy said. Sandy B saying like the imagery we have fought. 2020 came about George Floyd, and we wanted to elevate the image of the black man, and then our poster child through this media, through movies, Mr. Will Smith. No one voted for him, but he's just that talented and has been really holding up that mantle pretty well up until this point. Being, I mean, again, the complexities of their relationship aside, father, to raise two kids in Hollywood, people will say what they want to say about Willow and Jaden. They made it without, major, we don't know, but assuming without drug issues, without, what I'm saying? Like, people's kids get in real trouble.
And that's what I was
Um,
gonna say. Did they? You
I,
know how many
well,
rehabs are out there? You know how many people?
quiet ones, yes, you're right. I'm making a full assumption. I say that we know of. You're absolutely 100% right. I know Jaden is selling his water, trying to help Flint. I know that at least publicly they have a cleaner image than most Hollywood kids. We don't really know what problems they have. Your point is well taken.
Yeah. And I'm
Um,
not trying to beat up on Will or Hollywood. Well, I
yeah,
am trying to beat up on Hollywood, but I'm not trying to beat up on Will. It's
yeah,
just if you're out there, right?
yeah.
It's like if you're president, Barack Obama to me is my hero, not because I'm 100% behind his politics. I'm 75, 80% behind his politics. I
Hmm.
think he's an amazing man, an amazing American. He has etched himself in history is perfect. But what if Barack Obama, remember what they said, you lie? What if he jumped off the podium and smacked that dude from Texas?
I
Right?
know.
Right?
No.
Was
What if, and I think it was who said it? Joey Behar on The View was like, what if Katanji got up and got in Ted Cruz face and was like, hey, rah,
right?
even though and many times on her
Exactly.
face you could tell she wanted to.
It goes with the
Katanji was
territory.
like,
It goes with the territory. And if they can hold me responsible on my little bitty YouTube channel with my
right, for
250
what you
subs,
say. Exactly.
right? Come on, like they know where they at. Someone in the chat said they should have stayed home. Maybe they should have stayed home.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have had the blackest Oscars ever if there was God forbid.
Right.
That's a terrible thing to say, but I mean it with a sense of humor, some jest, because it really, like I said, in so many elements, it was good being the blackest Oscars ever, with so many of the little touches that Will Packer and his team put together. I was like, yeah, I was feeling it. I was like, what am I watching? This is
All
not
of those moments
exclusive
were
Boys
missed.
Club. anymore. Go ahead, Miss AKA lady.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was saying all of those moments were missed though.
Yes.
Like, I still don't even know half of the people. Like, I learned late in the day that Questlove won, that Samuel Jackson finally got his Oscar. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, there
those are
was some beautiful
huge
moments.
moments of the night that nobody's even talking about.
Yeah, it is a shame. It hurts to finally get access to something, and then something like this happens, and it's like, oh, we shouldn't have let them Negroes come in and take over the show. You know what I mean? I'm being facetious, but it's heartbreaking because there was so much put into letting us finally get a seat at this table,
But
this specific table.
Doug brings up a good point though. Like you look
All
at the
right,
ratings, you look how
y'all,
dismal the ratings are,
yes,
right?
he's big on the ratings. This
But
is
here's the
like a
thing
whole
though,
setup.
they're
Yeah.
in the dumpsters, and that's when the black people get to produce the show.
Exactly. We save the day when anything's broken. At the very bottom of it, give it to a black person. We'll bring it right back. It's so sad, but true. Bedside BK says, Suzette in chat, could this be an Illuminati initiation for Chris and a promotion for Will? The humiliation was equally extreme for them both. I'm not an Illuminati.
That would be a late submission for Chris, right?
Yeah, he been
Yeah, and
around.
he ain't a Scientologist, so now I don't think Chris is gonna rock with them.
Yeah,
It's
it's
kind
kind
of
of
late.
Doug is still like, yep.
But to answer your question earlier about, do you think he's going to get reprimanded?
Oh yes, go ahead.
I think so, because it's kind of like one of those situations where you don't want to discipline someone, but they did it so out loud and in public. Now you have to, because you know what I'm saying? You have to. I think that they don't want to, but because of the broadcasting of it, there has to be some kind of fines. There's no way that he's going to be able to get away with this without anything happening, just because of the stage that he was on. They have to do something. They have to.
Yeah, I think to let it. This is a picture that stands out to me. Them holding hands, right after. There was a lot of kind of touch going on between them. I'm not a body language expert, but it seems like kind of solidarity. Van Lee says the situation fake and contrived. Is fake and contrived, but the social effects of this will be real. Optics are bad, narratives are even worse from it. I hear you. Looking at some of the intervention afterwards, there was like a moment where I think, this was the picture of the night of
Wow.
Nicole Kidman afterwards. It was like, oh, okay, this is but my favorite face was Lupita. Lupita was all of us.
Yeah, she was
Lupita
everybody.
was just in line of the shot cross Will and Jada's table. When the camera was panning on Will, Lupita was right over his shoulder in the background, and her mouth was literally open for
This
the
is when he
first,
was
like,
yelling, right? When he was
yes, when
yelling.
he was yelling, she looked,
Hmm.
and when he first said, keep my wife's name out your MF mouth, it was her mouth was just like this, and her eyes was just. I was like, Lupita was all of us. And then when he said it again, her mouth closed, and she kind of like got composure and like, okay, well, he's serious. I think everybody, or at least what I've read, has said that most people in the auditorium kind of knew from jump. How we at home, Sandy, were like, is this real? Is this scripted? That most people were like, whoa, what's going on here? This doesn't seem scripted. But yeah, whether or not he'll get in trouble, I think is very telling as far as privilege, privilege of fame and money. He is a black man. This is Tyler Perry coming up to him afterwards. Even Bradley Cooper tried to like console him. And again, Miss AKA Lady, your point is well taken, that no one was. We don't know what happened backstage, but at least in the front of the stage, there was kind of like an intervention going on among, especially like the black Hollywood um, heavyweights, like going up to Will and kind of talking to him, and in between that commercial break and such.
In
See
that
Bradley
picture,
Cooper here
Tyler
on this
Perry, that's
side.
Hollywood. Tyler Perry was pitching his next play. We gonna
Yeah,
call it "Why You Smack Chris."
Tyler Perry was like, "Bro,
I'm
you got
done
glow up,"
yelling.
or he's saying, "You ain't never gonna work again, but I got you." Bro. I don't know.
We could
Actually,
start in
yes.
Atlanta. We could start in Atlanta, go to DC, start a brand new chitlin circuit. Why I smack Chris?
Oh
No,
my
I mean,
god.
we're being funny here, but no, it was very telling who went up to who. Even Samuel L. Jackson Samuel L. Jackson when Will Smith won his Oscar. Again, that was lost. Will Smith finally won his Oscar. Samuel L. Jackson's handshake was like, people were commenting that it seemed like Samuel L. was like, the approval was, we've been wanting to smack out of Chris for a long time. Thank you for getting it done. Not making
Wow.
light of violence. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that moment of, that embrace. I don't know, maybe it could have also been read in terms of the body language as, bruh, we're still here for you, we got you, this is your moment, go for it. um I don't know, what was that, do you guys think that moment was fake with the crying?
No, I don't. I think that Will has cried before when he gets emotional. I think that Will was fed up and he was frustrated. He did something that was on a whole world stage that was completely out of his image. And if any, at the least bit, he was probably crying because he was embarrassed and he was worked up. But I don't think that it was fake. The one thing that I do think is kind of weird was the actual slap itself. There was a lot of technique in that slap. And Chris didn't stumble or fall. And I find that weird because any man I know, well, the men in my life that I know, if they come up to somebody and slap them that hard,
They
you
gonna
gonna move.
they
You
gonna
doing
rock, they
something.
gonna rock with it, leave with it.
And they slap that looked like a pretty hard lot of technique in that slap, and Chris didn't move at all. I thought that part was weird, but yeah.
What say you, DL?
I, the talk I'm hearing about Chris being a villain in Hollywood in some way. That I just 25 years out there, I never saw it. I never saw it. I never heard it. That's not saying that it's not true. It's not saying that it is. I just never saw it. But Will did play Ali. Will Smith got trained by some of the best people in the boxing game. So
Right.
Will knew what he was doing as far as his body position and where how to throw maybe an awkward punch or a slap. And Chris, when you see him, he was standing there with his hands behind his back. His feet were solidly placed. Like they were, he had good balance right there. His knees weren't locked up, and it didn't look like Will went to put all 250 pounds behind that blow. So, and he didn't catch him with the palm portion of his hand either. He caught him more with his fingers. Like
Mm.
for those people who were out there really
Yeah,
super
kind of
slow mo.
open handish. Because the
Yes.
way the fist looked, I was like, dang, did he connect with
So
his
he was
jaw?
being merciful.
Say again. Say again.
I said he was being merciful. He had some grace in the situation.
He was
I
being
thought he had
merciful, but
dropped him.
but
But
that's the answer to your question. He didn't put a lot on it. You know what I'm saying?
no, he
So
didn't.
if
If he
I'm mad,
wanted
any
to, he
man
could have
gonna
knocked
swing
Chris
like
out.
yeah. If any man gonna swing like that, you just gonna go ahead and swing. Like if you're gonna smack a man,
You
you
gonna
need to at least
smack
make him fall down and grab his face or something. And that didn't even happen. But that just makes Chris look bad though. He did not. He got to at least come back and swing. I don't care if you go beat up, jump on him until security run out there. Like you know what I'm saying? Do something.
I almost feel like Chris expected him to get up on that stage, but didn't expect what was coming when he got on that
Mm-mm.
stage. Maybe he thought he was going to do something else.
Yeah, he was
Or,
laughing when he was walking towards him. He was like,
so,
ha ha, Richard. He was calling by like King Richard. He was like, oh, here comes Richard. And then his first, like that first, Will Smith just slapped the out of me. He looked genuinely, again, they're all actors, but he
right.
looked genuinely like,
Because
what the heck, bro?
when Will initially laughed, he looked over at Jada.
Yeah.
And that's when that mode shifted and he went up. Because it was just like, at first, Jada I could see her roll her eyes, and then Will was laughing. But it only took
joke,
that split
initially.
moment where Jada and his eyes crossed, because she rolled those eyes,
Yes.
and she looked over at him, and I guess he caught the vibe, and he was like, oh, I'm not supposed to be laughing.
Yeah, my
Let
wife
me go
feels
up there and
disrespected.
represent for my woman. But I didn't even really feel like he was representing for her interests. Like, I feel like you're causing her more harm in doing this,
Yeah.
because you're creating a scenario now where all this August Alsina stuff is popping right back up in the memes.
Mhm.
All the other imagery, now it's Will crying again, so we're going to put that face on everything that goes on.
Right.
And they're just going to keep digging into the situation. So if your intention was to stop people from talking about your wife, why would you do something that would create like this windstorm? Like, I don't think anybody's talked about anything other than this all day long
No, it was
at
frightening.
all.
Because I'm telling
Clubhouse,
you, it was shocking in the moment. Watching it live, having had sat down and was actually watching the Oscars as I did,
look at the
this little
people
side
behind
eye that Jada
laughing.
gave, and when
Yeah.
she turned around again and gave it like a solid side eye, he look at Will's face. Will is
Everybody, look at
actually
everybody
open
laughing.
mouth. She the one that kind of had a little cross eye heaviness and side eye roll eye, if you will. And but right there, Lupita, right across from Will, laughing, and Jada's not.
Yeah,
And
and
then
you
the switch came, and then again, she's kind of still freeze frame. He's laughing, and that final, like when they look at each other, it was on and popping. He walks right up, and it
yeah,
seems so out of character. Like it seems so out of character.
you know,
Um,
I was
yes,
talking
go
to
ahead.
some Hollywood people today about this, right? And we talk about the red table, like you brought that up with the red table, and it's a really good point. Who really knows about that? It's like primarily women of color, African American women, right?
Do white
And,
women watch Red
well,
Table? I don't know.
I don't
I
think so,
don't
not
know.
as much.
Not as
And
Okay.
much.
it's primarily women of color, predominantly African American women, women of color, and the red pill community, right?
But
Those
white
men.
women go on there to kind of
No, no,
make up
no. The
themselves.
men from the red pill community watch the red
Oh,
table,
okay, okay,
Oh
and
wow.
understood.
you had and you had women. So this is a very, very small section, cross section of the overall picture, right? Now, all those Hollywood folks who didn't know about the red table,
They
they
know.
know about it now. And that was a great point you made, man, because now they're gonna go and get all this information, and they're gonna slowly start to change the narrative. Oh, you weren't protecting her. You mad because she slept with a 20-year-old or whatever the case was.
Yep.
Right? Now you got all this backstory because I was talking to a writer today, a struggling writer in LA, and I told him the story, and he was like, "What's that?" And 15 seconds later, he's reading it. Because we're
Yeah.
on the phone, he's reading it. He was like, "Oh my God, she slept with
So you
the
think
the
that
boy."
Will and Jada could conspire to take Hollywood's night from them?
No, I think it just happened now. And Hollywood came to his defense initially, but like anything else, you go get the backstory. Well, what happened? And then you have in the in the manosphere out there, or whatever you want to call it, internet land, you got the red pill guys saying, see, it ain't red pill rage, it's blue pill rage. See, look at that. And they're saying all the S word and all that kind of stuff. See, so you got this now. People are like, what's going on here? Why? You know what I mean? And again, it takes away from everything Hollywood wanted. They shut down West Hollywood once a year for that show.
Yeah.
That show is so important to the economy. If there's any LA people in the chat, back me up on this, telling me if I'm right or wrong. You can't drive up and down Hollywood from Highland
Mm-mm.
all the way down to La Brea. You can't.
Mm-mm.
That's a long way, y'all. Like if you pop out of your hotel room, you stuck. Like if you live over there, you
You
can't park
can't
your
move.
car.
You can't move after the show start the next day because it's
But
lockdown.
and
Yeah.
it takes them about a week and a half to set that up, and like another 4 or 5 days to tear it down. That's how massive that is to Hollywood. And Will ruin that night. Come on,
I know. Not or ruined it or made it internationally acclaimed.
ain't no hey, all press is good press,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. It's two sides to that story. Social work chose me says not only did he slap weird, he turned his back. What black man turns his back to a fight? Lot of mercy. Hey Reese, from Philly, nice to see you. Thanks for coming up. Our last show. Ace Butterfly adds, I think Will Smith used an open hand strike to reduce injury. If he used a fist, there would have been more injury. Absolutely.
And that would have been a felony, right? Open hand versus a fist.
Yeah, it changes the kind of or the intent. Yeah. Uh yeah, they said Regina
I've heard
King
that.
was making jokes too. I didn't
Mhm.
catch any. Was she?
She made an entanglement joke.
Oh, okay, the
Ooh, see.
entanglement.
That happened before Chris.
So why didn't
Mm.
Jada run up there and smack her?
Hey.
Jada didn't
They
smack
probably
anybody.
friends. Like Regina is cool. I like Regina. Like I know
Uh,
her.
Yeah, Will can't smack her. That's Jada got to handle that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
right.
tell you what, Jada looked real gangster sitting there. I mean,
Like a
that was some
statue.
Michael Corleone vibes right there.
Like a
She
statue.
like that she gave that slight nod and made it happen. That's better than when Malcolm
You
X
saw
did
that?
that.
I didn't see no nod. Y'all
Not
saw a
the
nod?
nod.
I
No,
did love their
like,
interaction after the whole thing happened. As a couple,
yeah.
I did like how they interacted with each other after the situation was over. It did seem like they do have a loving relationship, even though it's
Listen,
something
they
that
partied.
we don't. Yeah, he was hype at that party.
He was like living like it was 1999. I
Wow.
was like, wait a minute, did something happen at the Oscars?
Yeah, he smacked the hell out of somebody and got away with it. I'd be partying too.
He looked like the pictures from the after parties. I was like, oh, okay. So we
The
just kept it moving. They
videos
didn't answer any questions when
Where
they
was
was done.
Chris during this time?
at
I
the
didn't
Calming
hospital.
down
see
this
it.
crew. Put the guns away, y'all. No, we're gonna let this ride.
We're like,
Oh, I saw
terrible.
so many memes today of what Chris really was doing right after this happened when he went
See this family
backstage.
portrait right
This is
after.
this makes no sense. It
I
makes
was like
no
the
sense.
juxtaposition. That's why I said, who is the real Will Smith? And again, both all of us can be both, right?
Yeah,
Because look at this. We trying to repaint quickly the family man, but I was like, ooh, it's not quite sitting with me.
Wow.
And
hold
they
on, but
might.
me a question. So, is there a separation between a family man and a man who protects his family?
Mm,
I'm
protect
not saying
his
that what he did in this
family.
specific
Because if that's
situation
what he
is
was doing, I
right.
think is the argument. Some people are thinking that's not what he was doing.
My question is, you look at that picture. Who's the boss? Who's
Who
the
is the
boss?
boss?
Who's the
Let me
muscle?
see. Hold on. Let me make it bigger. Hold on. Let me see. Let me make it bigger.
Mm.
Who is the boss? Willow.
It does look like Willow.
Let me see. Who is the boss in that picture, guys?
I
Mm,
say Jada.
I
She
I
think
has
they
the
see
have
it.
she has
equally
the tender
strong
touch.
body language. Y'all making me really think about this. What do y'all say? Who in this picture, you guys in the chat, do you feel exerts the most alpha energy, let's say?
I think
Um
everybody's just exerting family energy.
yeah,
I don't see
I don't
like
think
no real dominance over one another. I
I
see
don't
a
see
family.
dominance. You see dominance there, DL? Who you see dominance and how? In what
No,
way?
I'm just saying, but gangster families take portraits all the time, right?
Yes.
So, hey, who's the boss? And
Who you see as
who's
the
the
boss
boss? Who's
here?
the shot caller? You know what I'm saying? Who's the hitter? Who's the muscle? I mean, I'm just looking at it. I don't know.
I
The
think the
Ace Butterfly
smallest
say they.
person is the boss.
Can
Ah,
I
the
acknowledge that?
Oscar is the boss. I like it. Go ahead.
Acknowledge that how uh Jaden's hand is on his mother, protecting his mother and
Mm-hmm.
caring for his mother. I do
Mm.
notice that about the picture.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed Trey on his daddy, and I
Hmm.
noticed Jada's hand on his Will's thigh,
And Willow's
head
on
to
her
head.
own.
It just looks like a loving family to me.
Yeah, I don't see exertion of power one over another. Kinardic says Hollywood is the boss. How about that? Oscar is the boss. Okay. Ice Butterfly say I'm feeling white. We're doing a whole Venn diagram trying to figure out who's
All
the
right,
boss.
Ace.
It's just interesting because people can see so much. Social work shows me says Jada is the boss in real life.
I
Do you
believe
guys
that.
agree?
Yep,
Well,
I
well,
believe that.
I would say this. When I saw that picture, when you first put that picture up, the word that popped into my mind was untouchable.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
The lighting, it's a very interesting picture. It
Look at
is.
that. Look at everybody smiling. You can't touch us. Look what we just did.
Untouchable. Untouchable. And that's how it
Wow.
should be.
Wow.
I really feel like that. I feel like if you have a true family, because it's for me and my family is ride all day. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You can call me whatever, you can say whatever, irrational. But when you get too close to me, when you get too close to anybody in my family, you liable to catch whatever you're going to catch. And I know that that might not be the most PC thing to say.
Oh no, of
As a
course.
black people, we should act a certain way. But bump that. You come close to me and mine's
It's on.
on
I,
site.
like I said, I this is interest. Thank you, Mixed Master Miko. We brought this up. How many black people who won an Oscar, I think you mean, last night compared to previous years. The slap was meant to be a distraction to keep us from talking about the talented Black people in Hollywood. What was talked about in his stream, in his speech, Will mentioned this quote: "At your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes for you." That's what he said. Denzel told me that. Did y'all have any thoughts on that?
He
If
should have
that's the
told the. Sorry, go ahead.
I
Sandy,
was
go
just gonna
ahead.
say, if that's the case, he failed. If that's the case, he failed the test.
Mm, mm. It was heartbreaking to hear. Like again, I think the cries and the tears was mostly embarrassment.
Yeah.
For just like almost shocked himself as to what he did. And how it was. Y'all know Dr. Umar, right?
Not Dr. Umar.
This was from Spiritual World. Mr. Cocoa
Mm,
Butter, aka my beautiful black industrious Nubian Queen Johnson, shares his thoughts. Why they do Dr. Umar like that? Whether you feel it was warranted or not, the truth is that black women must be respected and protected by any means necessary. Shout out to my Philadelphia brother Will Smith for standing up for his queen. There was more to the quote. I only brought one piece here, but thoughts on Dr. Umar?
I don't like that. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie to you. I don't. I believe in accountability. I'm sorry. I can't
Dr. Umar
just.
doing too much to be talk about Will and Jada.
I can't forget about the Reds. I just can't forget that. And it's everyone. We each our own person,
Yeah.
and they got what they got going on. And guess what? They're a power couple. There's
Yeah.
no denying that. You saw that picture. They're
Right.
untouchable,
Right.
right? I don't. I asked my buddy Ty Barnett. You saw that part of the show. What are they gonna do to Will Smith? What did he say? Nothing. He's an insider. He
Yeah. Oh
knows.
wow.
He knows. Like they ain't gonna do nothing to Will. He is. I was talking to another guy, a friend of mine out there, actor. He was like, "Man, Will Smith is untouchable, bro. They're not gonna do
Yeah.
anything to him." So, props for that. Big ups for that.
Yeah.
But I can't let that red table thing, that what the situationship or whatever it was called. I can't let that go. I'm
So
not
you're
doing that.
like, she wasn't even worth defending, in your opinion.
I'm not saying that let her get assaulted. Like if someone was trying to assault her, I'm going to protect any woman or anybody that is with me for that matter. But over something like that, you know what I mean? Nah, I'm
Mm.
not going to walk up there and do that. Nah, not for her. Not when it's okay for you to, the way. No matter who put it out there, we weren't talking about what Will Smith was doing in that open relationship, but
Hmm.
we know what Jada was doing with her son's buddy and who else, right? Like who else? We just talking about that. You know what I mean? Who else was involved?
But
Man,
he
I
ain't
just can't get
leave.
past
He
that.
that's his wife. And maybe there's a kind of agreement. I'm not. We're not gonna get into it. Hey,
Yeah,
Andre.
Hey,
for better or
Iqua
worse.
Da or Day says on site. Period. When it comes to family, how are you tonight, Andre? Nice to see you.
I'm doing well. Good to see you, Suzette. Looking beautiful as always.
Yeah, thank you very much. They talking about Will is Will a Christian now? He gave a lot
There we go.
of
The disrespect to our
spirituality in his
Philly brothers.
speech. But what are you thinking about this whole situation?
Well, y'all know I'm from West Philly, born and raised.
Oh
Um,
yes, Philly in the
yeah.
Philly,
building.
y'all up. Hold on, Philly.
Yo, this dude, man, drop him down,
No.
Suzette. Drop
Why
him down.
why DL
I'm getting
disrespecting
sick
y'all
of
like that with the gunshot salute?
DL Saint ain't no saint. He more. That's the devil. That's
Not
who
the
that is.
salute. Got me ducking.
Yeah, you might as well put up Hell Hydra. The way this dude talking, man.
Man.
Well, I personally feel that I do have to agree that Will Smith is wrong. It's like you can't take a joke because Will Smith even talked about when he was doing his Facebook thing, and he was talking about how he was facing his fears. Stand up comedy is one of the things that he wanted to do. And it's like, dude, if you admire comedians and you even tried to pursue it, you went out one night with Dave Chappelle, you should understand that most things is off. They on the table to talk about, especially when you're a public figure. And I
Mm,
understand it, like what he said in the speech about people disrespect you and think it's okay and all that stuff. They do think it's okay because you put cameras in your house. Now, granted, he didn't want those cameras in his house. That was all Jada. But it's like people are saying, it's like, yo, you got to get control of your household. Why is your wife doing all this stuff to set you off all the time? Like, Y'all too free over there. Y'all need a little more discipline.
I got a button for him.
Maybe it's the Scientology part. I don't know. I don't know.
Man, I don't know what it is. I don't want to blame it on nothing. I think you gotta take accountability for whatever comes to your
Yeah,
doorstep.
last call for insight says so. Thank you for the super chat. 10 on the super chat. What good does it do to blame the devil for your actions when your maker holds you accountable? Very well said.
Shout out last call for insight. He the man.
Yes. But go ahead, Andre. Sorry.
It's especially when like I just can't get past when people get into the spotlight. You know what's coming with the spotlight. You know it's going to be all this kind of pressure. Like us, we all jumped on YouTube, so we gotta be ready for the haters, for the love, for the in between, and whatever. It is what it is. You gotta let it. You gotta roll with the punches. Like,
well, especially if your wife is opening up those conversations. I think that's Dale's point. You let your wife go there or express those, really sticky scenarios that she was involved in. And I guess Miss AKA Lady, sorry, I know you had to drop off. I know it's getting late. But maybe August Alsina brought it up first, whichever. So she had to address it. Nonetheless, it was aired out. The dirty laundry was aired out, and it was uncomfortable for him, clearly. But was there enough reason here, just at this moment, at this night, to defend her, notwithstanding what was already being aired? And it sounds like, again, among where we stand here in this panel, maybe there wasn't enough reason here when there was so much already that she put out in public. Not saying that's my opinion, but
girl, the words you using, if I weren't tired, I'm telling you, if I weren't tired, I'd be all over those words you're using right now.
Tell me what you feel.
What did she say? Open, sticky. Who was saying some words?
I did not even think like this. We might have to get off this street. I was whoa.
Hey.
Okay, go ahead, Dre. Let's go ahead and read some comments.
I'm done.
Suzette speaks after dark.
We should let DL Saint talk. He got all the comments.
I'm tired. I'm tired, y'all. My bad. I tried.
Yeah, right.
Suzette made me do that. Suzette made me do that.
Look, DL,
New Jersey, I want to tell you.
You're about to get that Will Smith slap. For all these
Now I'm about to get that patois. I'm about to get that patois. Boy, I done told you, boy.
Me tell you already, Me tell you. I'm like, this is an interesting point. Hi, Mateos, Rafael, Negos, Estefanos. I was wondering if it was anybody else but Chris Rock, and perhaps maybe even a white comedian, would Will have reacted? No,
absolutely not.
Smart for that.
Okay, just curious if y'all think it's just personal to Chris, or just because Chris is a black man that they are familiar with who has tried them in the past.
Yeah, because what value does a black man have in this world?
That's true. But my Philly brother, what if it was Kevin though? What if it was Kevin?
Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
He probably would have backflipped him on.
I think he would have went for him because he's bigger than him.
Know better. Yeah, Kevin Hart, it would have never happened. Kevin Hart would have never made those kinds of jokes.
Thank you, Miss AKA Lady. No problem at all. Yeah, I was wondering if it was because some people online had talked about whether he, instead of being mad at even Jada, was taking his feelings out on somebody else who he could handle in a sense, like kind of misdirected anger kind of stuff. Do you guys feel like that was a possibility?
Oh, absolutely.
It was like, I could take this one. This is gonna be for the world, maybe. That has been talking all kind of crap about me and my marriage. You can tell
just by the way he strutted off the stage. Like, yeah, I just handled that. Don't worry about nothing.
He bumped off that stage.
He tugged at his 3-piece suit.
I was like, he was like, I'm the man now. Like, it was so much ego.
Yeah, there was so much confidence in it.
Y'all remember when Tupac beat the case that one time and he came out to court with that one swag?
Oh, yeah.
I'm being 100 though.
Ain't that the same time he spit in the camera?
Yes. And I'm being 100 though. Will goes up there and does that smack. And what has he been hearing? A lot about
Yeah.
Tupac in
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
August.
So trying to be the man. Hey, OG Patrice, we out here late tonight. Nice to see you. Mateos Rafael says it's 5:52 Denmark time. Really? You getting ready for work listening? I'm so glad Denmark in the building. But so let's I guess finish by talking about the reputation.
Wow.
This was the front of the New York Post. We talked about Monique. We talked about her blackballing. I'm gonna let every one of you guys give me kind of your final thoughts when it comes to the monetary, not the academy, but does Will Smith not get cast? Is Will Smith going to be kind of excommunicated from the circle that he's been in? But the best smackter, leave it to the New York Post. Finally, the Oscars are a smash hit. Will loses it over Jada. Joke slaps Chris Rock. This is unfortunately, like I said, the headline, not his Oscar win, not how hard he's worked for the last 20 years to become, the mega star, international star that he is. So do you think his work is affected by this, guys? He won't have the scripts coming like he normally does.
He has a production company. Absolutely not. He can
So he ain't got to worry about it.
he's a A-list he's an A-lister and he can green light whatever he wants to green light. Who's gonna say no to Will Smith?
So there's no consequence even on they can't blackball him.
That's my buddies told me that last night, and I thought about it, had the whole day to think about it, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I mean, how can you, if I'm a boss, how you gonna dethrone me? I'm a boss. I got this sector over here. You fire me, you losing all the people of color. You losing most of the women. You losing all the young kids because they still think I'm cool. You know what I mean? He good.
So do you think he will give any additional apologies? Or it won't be necessary to, I guess, move money, move weight, move projects. Do you think he has to address this? Is this like a sit down with Robin Roberts type move next, or Tamron Hall, or what do you think? There's no more cleanup that he has to do
Nothing will here. They'll sit down in the room. They'll have a sit down just like the mob. What's this gonna
on their
cost
own
me?
show on the red
Yeah,
table?
around a real red table, no cameras or nothing. They gonna sit down like, all right, Will, this is what you gonna do. You gonna green light the next 5 Chris Rock projects. You paying for it. That's your penance.
Oh, so kind of penance in a way. Oh, you're deep. I mean, think about it. Oh, Mixed
Wow.
Master Miko want to come up? I'm gonna let one y'all, the back is closed. Last person back here. How are you, Mixed Master?
I'm doing well. How's it going?
Fantastic. Glad that you could come up and
Wait,
join.
wait a minute. Before
What's
Miss
up?
Master start talking, please don't confuse us like you did earlier with TL.
No,
Oh, you like that? See, somebody
Confused
gets
everybody in the chat.
no. Oh gosh. Please.
Yo, I sold that. I was surprised that like people actually bought into it. I mean, it was like, wow, you really
Please
believe
forgive
that?
me. Please, y'all chalking up to the little brain fog, and please forgive me. But
No,
I
I
asked this
won't dare see you
question,
say
and of
that.
course, I want y'all to be able to answer it by having someone new on the panel. Miss Master, before you go, does anybody also want to talk about whether Will has to do any more kind of cleanup or PR?
I do think he has to do more PR. I think we know Will's going to have more projects. He just announced that he's going to do I Am Legend 2 with Michael B. Jordan. So clearly they want to do press for that. And with Will backing it, you have to do a cleanup. Like it's no way in the world that he can bring out stuff and not answer for the wrongs he's done. It's the court of public opinion. He has to clean up his image because Mr. Squeaky Image has to clean up his image. Like, and that's just been the brand that he's been on, and that's what he has to stick with now.
Okay. So like I said, there was an apology during his speech. It was to the Academy and to his fellow nominees. It wasn't
But
to
not
Chris
to
Rock.
Chris Rock. Yeah.
Yeah, understood. So
Yeah.
cleanup is necessary. The family image and everything has to be protected. What did say
And
you,
the
Sandy?
business. Mm-hmm.
This is the ultimate Hollywood family. He's gonna do the apology tour. They're gonna do the red table. They're probably gonna do some talk shows. I'm sure there's gonna be some promotional things that are done to clean up this thought process because when you talk about the real Will Smith, I feel like in some ways we saw the real Will Smith. He slapped
Mm.
somebody and he showed you what he's
Philly.
capable of, right?
Yes.
But at the same token, remember, Will talks about the struggle between being what the world wants him to be, in essence, and being what he wants to be, and the struggle with his upbringing and all the things that he's gone through over the years and trying to compare to Tupac. And there's just been so many things. So when
Right.
you think about, he's going to have to clean this up in a lot of ways, because where he does have a lot of support from certain groupings of people, there are some groupings of people that see this as the most, I've seen commentary of like, this is disgusting, this is the worst representation. There's people that have those opinions. For me,
Mm-hmm.
I just think that the slap idea, period, whatever he was thinking, that was the wrong thought. Because he
Mm.
brought on some things that are just, you can't turn away from. We all,
He might have shocked himself.
thank you.
Like, damn, I just did that. Like, I don't know. Is that the real Will Smith? Is the question. Mixed Master, get involved here, sir. What are your thoughts from what you have been seeing online, or if you watched the actual ceremony? What are your thoughts of what happened, and if it was real or if it was maybe staged, or what Will may have to do to kind of clean up his image?
Well, image wise, I think he's gonna be okay. He's able to afford all any misstep he has, so he'll be all right. So we shouldn't worry too much about him in the future. Just as DL mentioned before, he's good to go. As far as the slap, it is tough to justify what he did in terms of trying to protect the honor of his wife and his family when his wife doesn't really have that honor to begin with. I say that
Y'all on
because
this, boy. Y'all like Jada
yeah,
done put herself out there anyway. So
she
Jada,
she's
she
messing
don't
she's
need to be
messing up.
protected. Wow, that's a deep
Yeah, she's
sentiment.
messing up. Yeah, she's messing things up because all she had to do with their whole open marriage and all the dirty laundry that been aired out, you keep it in the house. It shouldn't have never been public. We should not know about their relationship or what they're doing with their marriage. That should have been held tight, and then there would be no problem. He wouldn't have to have this backlash effect because, as mentioned in the broadcast, that really he's angry at her, and Chris was really the easiest target, the softest target, if you will, that
Mm,
broke the straw that broke the camel's back. So that's the only recourse he had in his mind, I think, to really stand up and justify himself from all the people that have been hating on him for all these years with respect to him and Jada. So really, he shouldn't have done that because it's bad as far as image wise for all of us.
yeah.
But I can see why he wanted to do that, but not for her. Not what
Y'all,
she's
well, there's
been
pushback
doing.
in the chat. Shout out to YouTubers Gone Wild. Thank you for the super chat on the 4.99 on the super chat. Appreciate you so much. Saying you spot on. But this is what I'm seeing. Mateos is saying every black woman deserves protection. That is beta male talk. And who said she doesn't deserve protection? Um, YouTubers Gone Wild agrees, most definitely. I wonder if that's with what you just said, Miss Master Miko, as opposed to what Mateos is saying.
I think it was me.
Um,
Yeah,
Remember, I was like, I don't know if she deserved to be protected physically, but I don't know if that was how she should be protected. Remember, I said that earlier tonight.
okay, yes, understood, understood. Social work chose me says send an apology to Chris Rock. Maybe sit down with Don Lemon, one of these folks. I think it might be even an Oprah. I feel like sometimes, the cleanup crew has to be a big gun and someone who with a lending credibility to say no, no, you guys really did know Will was that really squeaky clean good guy. He just lost it. He had a moment, and then they talk about mental health. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and then he invests in a mental health app. You know what I mean? Like, I think it can be handled in a way. I don't know. I'd be shocked if the Academy Award is taken from him. Like, who believes they would do that? Anybody in the panel?
I don't think they'll do it.
no, they
Yeah, I don't
won't
think
do
that's
it.
happening. That's absolutely not going to happen.
Okay, they
Think too
floating it
much about
online.
Will.
I was like, that would be crazy. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, YouTubers Gone Wild. Van Lee adds Jada has utter contempt for Will. Why y'all keep saying just because she said that she had that affair, or maybe it wasn't an affair, maybe it was a pre-approved. I don't know what they do. I am not protecting a woman who does not care about me, but y'all don't understand, or maybe don't know the inner workings of their marriage? Go
I,
ahead,
I would
Dio.
I would say this. Like, I mean, I've never met a woman who was completely into her husband or significant other that would look at another man in a lustful way. Never. I've never, like, if a woman really loves you and honors you, and it just, other men disgust them. They don't even think, it's like, ugh, right? I
But
mean,
what if that's their arrangement?
I'm just saying, just to Van Lee's point, right? If
Why
you're
are you
with a
looking like this,
woman
Suzette?
who is doesn't love you to the extent where, I mean, she can't even, like, my thing is this: love me enough to keep it from me. At least do me that solid. Love me
Mm,
enough. You
mm.
know what I mean? So we keep saying they have an open relationship. Who wanted it open? Because Will didn't
Lade,
look like he wanted it
Mateo's on the
open at
other
that
end
red
of the
table.
spectrum. Why black men of America are so into their private dynamic of marriage? I swear. Okay, some people like justice for juicy. Who is that? Thank you very much, y'all. This is devolving. I wanted to keep it kind of up top, but y'all.
Yeah,
What
but
Jada doesn't do and
sorry.
doesn't say is more powerful than what she does. You notice she hasn't said nothing. Even throughout the night, even
No
as he went up there,
statements
the
released or
handheld,
nothing.
the
Yeah.
head nod when he went and won. They touched forehead. She gave him a kiss, and he went and did the acceptance speech. But sometimes that silence be loud. That silence is louder than her grabbing a tweet or a piece of paper or saying something in a mic. Do you think she was embarrassed?
I
Yep.
think she was more. I think
Hmm.
she was more
Uh,
proud. I think she
You
was
think
like,
she got
"Yes,
her
you
Tupac?
finally did something that I wanted you to do."
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be short lived.
Somebody
Yeah.
said in the chat, Jada handling this like Beyonce in silence. Remember Beyonce standing on the elevator? She didn't do anything. She stood in the
Yeah.
corner.
When Solange was
Thank you,
Yeah,
Pam.
and then it came out. Her and Jay Z came out with that album and made money off of it.
yeah, we
Got
don't
a
know.
point.
Maybe, yeah. Again, all PR to me now
It's
is
good PR. Hmm.
So did
sad.
anybody see that video of one of the Wayans brothers doing a comedy skit from, I think it looks like it was from 1999, and he was playing out this situation that's very similar to what happened in this slap.
Mm.
You might find it on YouTube, but it was Sean Wayans playing Chris Rock, and Chris Rock was making a joke. Somebody comes up from the audience. I don't know who he was supposed to be. Hits him. I don't think it was a slap. It was like a hit. Then it was like Britney Spears came and started stomping him. Then some other people came on the stage and
Oh,
started punching and stuff. I saw that earlier on YouTube earlier this afternoon. It was so weird because it was very reminiscent of exactly how Will walked up to the stage and
yes,
just slapped
and
him, came
started
down.
it. Wow, like it came
Yeah,
from a play. Van Lee adds Jada has publicly displayed from her 20s to now that Will is unequivocally her second choice. Yikes. Sad for an icon like Will. This y'all crazy. I'm gonna let everybody give final thoughts. The Red Mask channel says Jada looked like she was fresh off a set of the Chronicles of Riddick.
but that was my point. Who knows about this? It's like women of color, with emphasis on African American women and the red pill community. That's who was really on this from the red table thing up to now.
Oh, but
And that's what you're going to continue to see. You're going to continue to see people coming out with that part of the dynamic and hitting that hard. You know,
okay, because though you're saying mainstream culture is not as aware of that as we
but
are.
but they are becoming aware now because it's
Oh,
all still there, and that's part of
yeah.
this. It's terrible. They're not celebrating his win, but they're going through the trash, so to speak,
Okay, now
and
looking at the receipts and what was okay,
getting the
understood.
backstory.
Yeah, Will has issued and CNN printed. Oh, Will's apology to Chris. Okay, that's what you were saying. I'll have to check out that skit. So, final thoughts, y'all. It seems like y'all don't think it was fake, from what I'm hearing. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Seemed
Yeah, it
like a
was real.
real over maybe
It was
reaction
real.
or a kind of out of character reaction. Do you think, and we're purely speculating, that there are underlying, mental health, what should I say, more than meets the eye in terms of maybe how he has been feeling? Like we were talking about it being a combination, maybe of everything that Jada has been putting out about their personal lives. Um, I don't know. I just look at him with compassion in a sense because I'm like this for a man who has been able to hold it together for almost all his career to have his most vulnerable moment be on the stage of the Oscars, it
Mhm.
means to me that there's maybe a little more deep challenges that he has not yet addressed or overcome. Do y'all see that as a mental health um
I do see that, but
break?
I just don't understand. It's like if you look at the documentary that Will has on YouTube about him writing his book and everything, he's sitting down talking to some of the world's best psychologists and um, psychiatrists and everything. It's, this dude went on National Geographic, went around the world and faced
Saw every
fears. He
animal,
went to a
every yes,
volcano. He
yes.
was going down rapid rivers in the middle of the
Yes.
desert. It's like, are you all that and you still mentally unstable? That's like they say, money can't
No,
buy
but the
happiness, right?
pressure of being a Hollywood kind of like heavyweight, A-lister, international, like bona fide, like phenom when it comes to acting and movies. It's a lot of pressure.
It
I
is.
would say this to your point, brother. I think that if I walk through the door with a clinician trying to get mental health
Mhm.
coverage, my medical coverage is good, but it's only going to go so far. If Will Smith walks through the door, you already thinking this is a 30-year treatment plan. So is he really getting the
Real
best
good.
of the best?
Yeah. So
It's not. And if you're the doctor, it's not in your best interest to cure him today.
it's
Hmm.
sad, but that's very
Well,
true.
well,
Remind me a
we
little bit
know
about Michael
we know
Jackson.
one thing about mental health. You can't cure it in a day. If you got demons in your past from 30 years ago, it's going to take some
Yeah,
real
but what he's
long
saying is
counseling.
he don't want him to get free. Like a practitioner would want that paycheck. Sadly, I'm not
Yes,
saying
he,
that's what
he he
happened.
becomes a
We
cash
don't
cow.
know. Just total speculation. But that's what I think DL was saying. Well, like he want him to be his client forever. Be dependent on
I
me,
see,
bruh. I'm gonna be here forever for you, kind
I
of
see
deal.
that point, but I think that's a little too dark. I don't want to
Yeah,
go down that.
yeah.
Money is dark.
Um,
If I'm the plug and some $300 million dude walk through the door looking for my product, I want him forever. I'm
Hmm.
mm,
not just gonna give
But
him the best and send him on
but
his way. I want him
also,
forever.
if you do great work, I'm gonna send all my friends and family to you, right?
yeah.
Right, but I
Hopefully.
want you forever. You
Yeah.
know?
I don't know. I think he's gonna have to talk about his mental health. I think this is Dre the man. Thank you. Suppressed anger and aggression from being publicly emasculated, wounded
Mm-hmm.
ego, I guess on display. Yeah. So there's so much more there, guys. Tomorrow I'm gonna pick this conversation up. I'm gonna try to hopefully I'll be able to secure my guest who has been battling alopecia herself. Talk a little bit more about that because I think a part of it that maybe we don't understand is the closed door conversations that he may have had or seen his wife, you know, suffering with the condition. I don't know if that is an excuse. I'm not trying to find one. Again, I'm not trying to judge what, you know, they have going on, but indirectly, it begs the question as to like, you don't really know how he's had to console, how he's had to kind of help her with her self image, all the things that a woman who is going through that struggle may face. So I think if I can get my guest booked, I don't know, she hasn't given me a time yet tomorrow. We can continue this conversation as well as getting a little bit of a deeper look, as Miss AKA Letty said, about the struggles, the real struggles that go on when you got alopecia and maybe what he thought he was protecting her from allegedly. We don't know. We don't
All
know.
right, I'm with
But
brother
final
Doug now.
thoughts.
It's fake.
Pardon?
I'm with brother Doug now. I just keep looking at this is in the chat.
Doug
I'm with
is
you, brother
like,
Doug.
yes, hit the like button. Let's get to 60 likes.
Yeah, Doug's on point. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying earlier. Because like, if we look at how many black people won Oscars last night, and then it's all overshadowed by this negative event.
That's all we got.
It feel
Even Will's
I
own
sense
Oscar.
conspiracy.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
own Oscar is like we not even talking about. That's huge. Denzel's
Hmm.
reaction to him when it was two black men, and I think out of five, five or six, and when he won, Denzel gave a fist pump like, yeah, we got another one. Like it was such a beautiful moment. We're not talking about any of that.
Hmm.
We're stuck here, unfortunately. Van Lee, final comments in the chat, please, and I'll give my guests their final thoughts. Suzette, does more bacchanal strangely tighten the screws on a marriage? Listen, y'all, I ain't married. Every drama event, they seem to clasp their hands tighter. It's bizarre. Yeah. Again. Ooh. Mm. Ace Butterfly agrees. Exactly. Look what happened with Mr. Jackson. Too many dependent practitioners. Wow. What would a man do if another man bullies his wife? Hmm.
Oh, you beat
Speaking
him.
of
That's
dark,
different. That's no doubt. You beat him.
yeah. Speaking of dark, the Oscars needs a huge bump. Needed a huge bump in ratings. That's what Doug is like. Y'all falling for it. This was all about ratings. We done got the black producers to like take a L. Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to believe that. I really don't. Ugh. Ace Butterflies. Maybe in reverse. Maybe Jada has to console Will. Boy, very interesting thought. I'm kidding. It's not fake. Delia in the chat too. All right, final thoughts. I guess you could think of what you would rather remember this Oscars for, or you can make a final comment about Will and what you think he needs to do to get healthy, maybe. But um, I enjoyed a lot of the Oscars. I was watching. I would like entertainment value. I was pumped. I'm telling you that number they did that was Broadway like from Encanto. We don't talk about Bruno. No, no, no. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It was
No.
so good. I was out. I was like, when Meg Thee Stallion came out, I was rocking. Like I was at the concert. You get me? So, there was just so much beauty in like Beyonce's performance. Other parts of it, of course, the winners, the people from the Coda community, children of deaf adults, them winning the best Oscar for Best Picture. Have y'all seen Coda? This movie.
No,
Now I'm
not
gonna go
yet.
see it.
No.
And
It's
also
on
the
Apple,
gentleman
right?
who won Best Actor as a non-hearing person from that movie
Mhm.
Coda. Now I'm curious. I'm like, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch that. But
Mhm.
so many, unique winners. Not your typical people were winning, right? So the lady from I can't remember her first name from West Side Story, who played the lead character. Ah, my goodness. She had on that beautiful red. Her name slips me right now. Afro Latina. She identifies as queer. Best actress. But what's very interesting is only two Hispanic or Spanish women have won Best Actress, and it's her and Rita Moreno for the same part in West Side Story, 60 years apart, which is kind of
Mm.
crazy. They haven't had any other Spanish um, or heritage winners, which again people are like asking again, where's that diversity? But it was the musicality of the show, the performances of the show I loved. So I hope we remember some of that too, as well as the big winners. Anybody else want to give me their final thoughts? Who wants to go first?
I'll give you some final thoughts. The Oscars are doomed, right? And the only reason the Oscars is doomed from a rating standpoint is because Hollywood is backing horrible movies. This is the bottom line. All these movies you named, I'm like, I'm not going to see any of those. I'm not going to see the Will Smith movie he just made. I'm sorry, like they're.
You're like, no.
I'm not doing that. Now there are great there are great Haitian filmmakers, Asian filmmakers, Latin filmmakers, Eastern European filmmakers with doing wonderful movies with like almost no budget. And we never ever those are the best movies. Go on Amazon Prime and just kind of scroll through there and you'll land on some really good movies. Even on Netflix, you'll land on some really good movies. Hollywood is trying to push a narrative and they're trying to shove it down America's throat, and America doesn't want it. That's why they're not interested in movies. That's why they're not interested in the Oscars. You got all these rich, elite, old people. There's all these young, amazing young actors out there that we got to wait till they hit 45 before we get to see them. Come on now, like and, until the Oscars addresses that. I mean, not the Oscars, but the Academy people addresses that. Until Hollywood wakes up, right? They'll spend $100 million on a movie just to make $50 million. Until they fix that and go
Let
back to
new blood
talent.
in.
Yeah, go let new good talent in, make good movies, tell good stories. Quit trying to sell the message. If they do that, they'll do fine. And there's a guy out there called the Critical Drinker. He's a Scottish guy. I highly recommend his channel. Go to the Critical Drinker and watch his reviews. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about, and he'll highlight some amazing movies on there. You'll be like, wow, I didn't even know about this. This is a Hollywood movie, and he's in Scotland, and he'll pick apart, and it makes complete sense why Hollywood is failing. So And
Wow.
with respect to Will Smith, I wish he didn't smack Chris. I wish he had waited to the after party if he was going to be tough, because this is horrible, man. This makes us all look bad. This is, it, I mean, it is what it is. Black. Let's say about black folks, grand opening, grand closing. I think that was
I
Chris
know.
Rock.
Mhm.
I know. Right,
Mhm.
right, right. As we get in the door, it's like goodbye. Nope. We y'all can't be trusted with this. This is too much responsibility. It hurt my feelings. But thank you, DL. Drop your channel in the chat. It's always a pleasure having you on. We had a fantastic conversation. Is marriage dead? Go back and watch it. Thanks for being a part and always coming up and kind of adding some great insights to what we're talking about. So thank you, DL. Good night to you. And then there were three. Shout
Mhm.
out to who else wants to give some kind of closing remarks and head on out as we head on out.
Oh, I'll go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to tell DL before he signed
Oh, did
off.
I drop him off too quick? Sorry.
Yeah, you did. I'll go tell him to keep it low because the FCC is listening to him. So I don't want I
Oh,
don't want
okay.
to go
Yeah, be
come
careful.
after him.
Sorry, Dia. Yeah.
No, it's all good. But but in response to someone in the chat mentioned about protecting women. Yes, as men, we are charged to do so. However, we cannot protect every woman in terms of being uncooperative, and in terms of putting if a woman put a man in a compromising position. So that's what I was referring to, where
Mm,
for all these years Jada has been publicly putting Will in a compromised position where he can't win. Anything he does go get scrutinized. So now he's pigeonholed, and he's forced to make a rash reaction to something that could just blown over everyone's shoulders. So in those cases that we're talking about, a clear example was there's a white woman in during a Pittsburgh Steelers game, got into it for the blackout glasses. Then
mm.
either her husband or boyfriend came up and tries to intervene. He'll mind his own business, and he gets knocked out.
Oh,
So
Lord.
you have to be mindful of the women that we protect. Yes,
Absolutely.
especially if you're married. Yeah, that's your number one priority. I know that's for a fact. But if someone's out of line, that's your life could be on the line as well. You just never know. So you have to gauge those situations accordingly. And there's always a time and a place for everything. Like DL say, if he wants to mince words or slap Chris Rock, he should have done it at another point in time, or send a message like they did in Godfather Part One with a horse on the bed. Not to that extreme, but
Not like this. Not with
yeah,
violence.
exactly. But as men, we gotta take care of stuff mano a mano outside the camera and not make a public spectacle out of it.
Mhm.
So he should have done that, been his brother's keeper. They should have handled it on the side and keep things moving. But to make it public, to show off, or whatever his rationale was a bad move, and it just hurt us for about 2 weeks until the story gets too old and we're on to the next thing.
Do you think Will Smith owes Will Packer and the production team an apology?
Absolutely. He owes everybody an apology.
Yeah,
Mm, okay. I
yeah.
didn't read the one. I see it in the chat. They said that CNN said they printed an apology. I didn't see it. I didn't see it yet. So the story continues. But thank you, Mixmaster Miko, for coming
No
through
problem.
this late night stream
Oh,
and
I
letting
know.
us know what you're thinking.
Yeah, hey,
Appreciate you.
appreciate you bringing allowing me to come up so late.
Of course. No, my pleasure. I'll see you soon. You take care of yourself.
You
All
too.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then there were two. Anybody else for final thoughts and comments, please? Y'all hit the like button, please.
I think
It's
my
a
final
blessing.
thought is just what happened was just completely disturbing. We're not going to forget what we saw.
Mhm.
I understand Will had every right to react in whatever way he chooses, but he also has to face whatever consequences come with that. And I think he owes Chris Rock an apology, man to man, face to face. And I think that Chris Rock should apologize to him as well for just making that joke. It was just in poor taste. But I just don't think that he deserved to be slapped in the middle of a show. You wanted to
Yeah.
Mhm.
slap him like they said later on. Do it in a different way. But this
Mhm.
was just, ooh, I
I
don't
think
even
they
have
both can
words.
be right and they both can be wrong. You get me?
Mhm.
Like I'm
Mhm.
not
Absolutely.
really on a side. I think some was in poor taste. We don't
Yeah.
use violence. We don't condone that type of behavior. It was an Academy Awards show. There's so many things that I was like, yo. Do you think he should have been escorted out, Sandy B? You think he should have been escorted out as a quick response by the production team or the powers that be at the academy?
If they wanted their response to matter, yes.
Mm,
But I think this was all for show in terms of their response. I think they were fine with what happened. It got people talking, and we're going to
yeah.
still be talking about it. So that's
Mm.
the unfortunate part about that. It overshadowed the whole show. I don't know who won awards. I don't even know who was there. I don't remember dresses. So it's just unfortunate on all fronts.
Yeah, yeah. It just it just my spirit was heavy after watching this. I was like, that is gonna be like what goes on in history now. Even
Yeah.
the best quote unquote, public figure of a black man,
Yeah.
it
That's
can be
legacy.
tainted and should be feared, or somehow it's gonna lose it and become quote angry and all this. I just thought a lot of here goes the stereotype in action.
Absolutely.
But yeah, but he's human as well. He's
True.
human as well. So without that kind of like strict judgment, it's still kind of like, oh my God, everybody can make a mistake. Any of us can, have a bad day. Um,
True.
and we've been talking about the reasons why. So anyway, Miss Sandy B, I'm gonna let you get to bed. I know you must be tired. Thank you, girl. Appreciate you coming up. Have a
Have
great
a good
night. You're
night.
welcome as always.
Just
Go to this channel. Thank you, RM. It's in the chat. The
Thank
Learn Biz
you.
podcast. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate you. And Mr. Andre, I see one more question in the chat. Interesting. What do you think about this? Tired of y'all said, I love the name Tired of Y'all. Do you think Chris should apologize to Jada as opposed to Will? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's no excuse for you not to know Chris. If you're gonna start throwing shots at people, at least know their history and what's sensitive to them. And you're on the biggest stage for Black people in Oscar history, and you don't do your homework. I think that's careless. That's unthoughtful. It's stupid, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
He's well too big and too high of a stature to not do his homework. He should do his homework.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's kind of like people were saying, did he know about the alopecia? Should he have known? Did he know, but he still thought it was a good joke? Hmm. So we'll see if Chris Rock does any more or
I
does
don't think
something because we really haven't heard from him since,
certain
except that he wasn't pressing charges.
certain things I don't think you should fly off the cuff with. When you're doing graduation speeches, when you at big ceremony things, or say you're at somebody's wedding. Well, you should speak from the heart, but you still should be kind of, guided in what you're gonna say. You can't just say anything when you get up there because you're gonna make a fool of yourself and your family and your friends.
Yeah. Miss Massimilio, y'all so funny. YouTubers gonna watch that in front of Beyonce. That's why she stay home and she don't go nowhere. Mix Masimico says Will and Jada should do like the old folks used to say, go and sit down somewhere. Doug says Will, Jada, Chris did the Oscars a favor. Watch. Next year's gonna be popping.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Somebody says men should stay in their lane talking about other people's mental condition. It's not a joke. I think we definitely hopefully shone through the light of this is bigger than just that moment. It definitely was more going on with him.
Absolutely.
Whether it's how he felt about all this past with the open marriage allegedly and other things with the entanglements and other things, if that was what really hurt him and he was trying to address what hadn't been addressed in the past, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he took it in the wrong forum, out on the wrong person. I think it seemed to me. So yeah, he had a post. Will Smith, I think, took it down. You can't invite no one from Philly or Baltimore anywhere. Trying to
I
make
saw
light of
that.
it. I was like, it's
Yeah,
too soon for that.
yeah,
It's
way too
serious.
soon.
You
Yeah,
can't make
you mess up everybody's
jokes about
night.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I said this spelt wrong this whole time. Y'all didn't tell me. Y'all didn't tell me.
Hold on, what
Oh,
you had spelled wrong?
no, don't. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, it's perfect now. But yeah, this is what happens when I late night stream. I put up the title. I was like, oh God, Sue, you
She
got to
worked
be free.
hard for the money.
I was like, I can't hardly spell now. It's that late.
Yeah,
Y'all wouldn't have
yeah,
said nothing. Y'all wouldn't have noticed, but appreciate
yeah.
you. Final thoughts though from you, Andre, and where you think Will goes from here, the career, being affected. If not, what's the lessons from this? What are your final thoughts?
I think that Will really has to do the work of getting counseling, him and Jada, and really deal with their demons and not allow it to be so public all the time. If you look at Will, he's on that like every social media platform, all the major social media platforms. I don't know if he's on Facebook, but I know he's on Instagram. I know he's on TikTok. I know he's on Twitter, and he did Snapchat. It's like you can't be on all the time. Nobody is built for that. We weren't built for all this social media, letting all these voices in and let all these people into our homes and not really having no downtime. Like you bound to just
go off on somebody.
explode.
Yeah.
Because you
got to know your limits. Everybody has limits. Bullying limits too.
Absolutely.
All that stuff that's been in the social media sphere, around them. Even if somebody hadn't said it to them directly, you're reading comments, you're reading stories. People are, you know the look. It impacts you. It impacts you for sure. No matter who you are.
YouTubers, they like, listen, if you don't like this channel, go on, because the stuff y'all leave, I read and it hurts.
Yes, and I don't know why people feel like they got to do that. They want to, again, they life be complicated too, but they want to focus in and be like, oh, Will, you don't let this woman play you.
Some people just want attention, Suzette. They waiting because you're not responding to the good comments, because you get that all day long. But they know the bad comments sticks out like a sore thumb, saying like,
I don't even entertain that energy. I don't even entertain. I'm like,
smart.
Delete. I can't even entertain that energy.
And that's the thing. Will knows this. Like, he loves chess. Life is nothing but a chess game and a marathon. You can't react to every little thing somebody says to you.
He should know that
allow it to build up.
Yes.
You got too much to lose. Way too much to lose. You're a role model. You got kids watching you. And you can't make it seem like this is okay. Like they say, it looks like something that a barbecue or a playground, like kids fight. You know he said about your girlfriend? What?
I know. turn into a family barbecue moment on like a national television at the Oscars. So it's like, oh my God.
It's ridiculous.
Like we bigger than that. We bigger than that, hopefully. Absolutely. But yeah, I bridge my final thoughts. I would just pray Will gets intervention.
Absolutely.
Something that like this that boil over the way it did. It's like I think about the memoir, the things that it probably brought up, that he recently published, and all the other things that he's probably been reliving, realizing, the money and the success does not make you, your journey, your experience, in life, experiences in life do. So even if people tell you you're the greatest, even if people tell you go back to that who you were as a child, kind of coming into the world, and some of those voices, those narratives play on, even for the biggest, strongest, most successful in monetary terms people. So he's just human. I do hope he gets help or intervention. I don't think his career is gonna like suffer. I doubt they'll take an Oscar from him. But I think that to make an example, or at least try to address it, I don't know how Oscars can suspend you or something like this, but I feel like they're gonna feel like they got to do something.
Yeah, I think they might not let him come to the next year's show and make him sit out 1 year just because of this. But you, like they said, like DL Singh said, you have to do something, because if you don't do anything, then everybody's gonna be like, how are you gonna say something to him and you let Will smack somebody in front of everybody?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, if you get to this point in front of your peers at the biggest night of your life, that was definitely a long time coming. Either bad blood or within yourself. That feeling of I'm inadequate as a man, so I gotta prove, and go show.
And it doesn't prove anything. That's the whole point.
Oh no, I'm with you. That's that. I know. Listen to me before I touch you. Yeah, Hollywood says dance. This is Doug. Doug on the last note. Doug says, "Y'all think this is real?" Hollywood says dance. Chris and Will. Oh, God. Doug with y'all think this was real, and it was never real to begin with. But anyway, Andre, any other things you want to make sure you say before we head out? I'm getting tired.
Listen, make sure y'all hit the like button, share, subscribe. Suzette is dope. She always been dope, and she gonna stay dope.
Thank you. And that last
shout out to RM and Sunbreeze. They've been doing
their thing. Shout out to Sunbreeze, RM, fantastic moderators.
Absolutely.
Appreciate y'all. The body language said it all. The academy says is going to impose sanctions on Will. Okay, sweet dreams, fam. I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming up, Dre.
Appreciate
Down
you.
by 20 million, Doug said. Y'all think it's a game. They just getting them ratings up. Anyway, have a good night. Nice
Good
to see you.
night.
Thanks
See
for
you,
coming
Suzette.
up.
See you in
Appreciate you.
Patreon.
Yeah, see you in Patreon very soon. All right, guys. It's been a real conversation. Like I said, I'm going to pick some of this up from the aspect of the struggle with alopecia for women. I reached out to a special guest tomorrow. I don't know what time yet. She said she's going to try to squeeze it in to just give a different angle about what a woman goes through, like what Jada is going through, and what it may seem like to her partner, right? And go a little bit deeper in that direction. So I hope you will join me. I don't think I'll be on Thursday, Friday. Saturday, I'll probably do Patreon. I'm going to be at a couple of events this weekend and my brunches this weekend. So I'll probably be Patreoning. I don't know if I'll be live Saturday, but I think Thursday, Friday is going to be too hectic. So I'll see you tomorrow for sure. And then most likely Saturday. If not, Saturday will just be probably Patreon. And Sunday definitely will be Patreon. All right. If you're not a member of my Patreon, y'all better get it in because it's going to be a fantastic weekend. But yeah, Doug's talking about Jada Foundation going to be popping. You know what, Doug? You so funny. Let's brunch. You know, my brunch is finally here. My brunch is Sunday. I'm so glad. Um, yeah, sometimes you gotta step away. Sometimes you gotta take care of real life off of YouTube and take care of your stuff. But yeah, join me on Patreon if you can. Appreciate all those who are already members. We're growing exclusive stuff over there. Patreon.com/. Suzette Speaks. Go look me up and join the team. Join the group. I gotta go, guys. My voice is like going out. But it's yeah, it's about that time. It has been fun. Glad to see everybody. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow. All right, have a great night, y'all. Thanks for watching. And hit the like button, please, before you say sweet dreams. All right, save you a plate. Mocktails for you, girl. I'm gonna try to break. Yeah, get them tickets. I got maybe like 5 tickets left. So if they're getting tickets, Sandy B, get them now. All right, y'all. Sweet dreams. Have a good night. Bye now. Thanks for watching. Take care.